You faked me out. After dark.
Old school. Just Rob and Tom for now.
Rob's eating ice cream. As he's watching his butt get wider. How's it going, everybody? Happy. Well, we can't say the name of it. There's a big game today. It's a big game. Wouldn't you say that?
That's what they call it.
We can't legally say the name of the game, but it's a big game. You might say it's a super game, and I'm enjoying a nice bowl of ice cream.
This is true.
Yes. Of course, Rob Robot Shlomo coming to Shabby Road Studios with me is Mr. Tom Counters.
No, Rob is not stretching my butt. That is very wrong.
Happy Groundhog Day, everybody! All right,
it's Groundhog Day.
Yeah, this is our counter programming. If you're not into the Super Bowl, oh shit! I said the name.
Uh-oh.
This is good ice cream though. Cookies. I got like Oreo cookies and cream.
Ooh.
Like bits of Oreo cookie smushed up in it. That's real good. That's good.
Captain Hare sent us a $2 super chat.
Captain Hare. Supreme Sports Ball sucks. Oh. My football season's been over since October. So I'm a New York Giant fan. So really I have no skin in the game. So that was good. I don't eat ice cream very often, but that's really good.
Yeah, my team's not in there, so
the Packers, I call them the Pack House.
So close yet so far away, just like the Brewers, all the time.
Well, at least you've seen them win a couple. I mean,
I've been fortunate enough, so I can't bitch too much.
I've seen the Giants win all four. But yeah. Well, anyway, there is a little bit of entertainment news. Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah. Kathleen Kennedy BAFTA Awards. She's getting she's getting a fellowship for her. It's like a lifetime achievement.
Wait, BAFTA Awards. What's that?
British Association.
Okay.
So anyway, she says there will be a female director on a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, probably Deborah Cho on fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Kathy, go home. You're drunk. Kathy, just shut up. Oh, she'll get Ava DuVernay. Will you watch? She'll get
I
Ava
hope
DuVernay.
The hell not. I know people in the business who can't stand her.
Ava DuVernay?
Yes.
Sanctimonious asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, there are people I know who know her.
Thought about it.
Yeah, there are people I know who know her and they can't stand her.
Damn.
Did she get one for hiring Brits?
She's a flash in the pan.
Probably because they filmed all the Star Wars movies over there. Yeah. So is that all she had to say?
I have this theory. I don't know. I'm not. Just shut up. Just tell her. Somebody tell her to shut up. Frank, where's her husband? Frank. Frank's probably home banging the Swedish masseuse.
Trying to get Congo 2 made.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Kathy. Shut up. That's the thing right there. You know, I've had this theory about why Hollywood hires Brits. Oh, first of all, I know why Hollywood hires Brits. It's because they work cheaper. British actors are the Mexican day laborers of Hollywood, and that's not me saying that. That's somebody actually, a prominent British actor said that. I think Hugh Grant said that.
Well, not only that, they have all the studios over there.
Well, yeah, that's part of it. But the thing is, here's the thing:
like Pinewood and Twickenham or whatever the hell the other one's called, and then
if you're in a union, if you're in SAG, Screen Actors Guild, if you're in SAG, you have to be paid a certain amount of money. There's a minimum that SAG make sure you get. But however, if you're in a union overseas, or if you're coming from overseas, in a union like BAFTA, they could pay you under the SAG minimum. So I said to Dave Sheehan, he goes, let's say I want Dave Sheehan to be in the big movie. You know, Dave Sheehan will give me the big movie. Okay, we have to pay how much? Okay, we have to pay him $1 million. We can't, no way around it. And so studio head Joe Shameless says, wait a minute, we can get Johnny English over here to be in the big movie, and we can pay him $300,000, and we won't get penalized by the union if we do that. Plus, we get to market it overseas. Plus, the other thing, I think just directors have a boner for hearing the English accents, you know, the British accents, and it legitimizes themselves in the eyes of their low-life Hollywood peers. So,
yeah.
Expected a little bit more of that than just, yeah.
Well, we got Stieg.
Stig Kenobi.
Hi.
Kenobi.
Rob, how are you?
Yeah. Oh,
Hi, Tom.
fantastic.
Hello there.
I still got a touch of the Kung flu.
It can really grip you.
Yes.
Are you sure you didn't get the coronavirus?
No, I got the Kung flu.
You were drinking Corona, weren't you?
You can kick the Kung flu right away, though.
Yeah, it was a little bit frightening, and those kicks were fast as lightning.
Yeah.
Hey, Anthony, you want to pop in here? I'll send you a link.
Oh yeah, it's just a free for all. It's a Sunday free for all stream. No real agenda. Just we're being goofballs. You know,
I should be working.
I should probably be doing something productive, but I'm not.
Cleaning the house, probably. I should do that. So I can actually get up.
I can only stay for a short while, though.
Okay.
Oh, that's fine. We're just glad to have you.
You just came for the food.
Anyway. Yeah. I heard there were burgers or something.
Burgers. Now let me ask you. Yeah, I actually, you know what? I was in Norway in 2009. I was on a bus of all things. We were going around we got lost going around the fjord. We all hopped on the wrong bus. I was with a bunch of British tourists, and they said to me, "Where are you from?" I says, "Well, I'm from the U.S." "Oh yeah, where are you from?" I told them, "I'm from New York." And they said to me, "Oh, you must be living at McDonald's." I said, "No, not really. I really don't eat McDonald's very often." And they were really surprised. I'm like, I just blew the stereotype out of the water, didn't I?
Yeah, people just associate Americans with, I guess, guns and burgers. I don't know.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well,
guns, burgers, and tits.
Yeah. I've spoken to a lot of Americans this last year, and, well, it's not entirely wrong, is it?
No, not really. Oh, and it might help actually send out the right thing here. Oops.
Yeah, it might. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love burgers, but I love a lot of different kinds of foods. So, yeah. What else? What else? There's a hashtag going around on Twitter. Men are not very good at. How about putting up with your BS?
Well, don't you guys remember? Well, you probably don't, Steve, because you weren't listening. But Rob, do you remember when I said a while back, I don't believe Amber Heard. I don't think that Johnny Depp did anything and all that crap. And then we find out that she basically chopped his finger off in a roundabout way, and then now we've got this audio coming out. Where's my apologies, people?
Yeah. Well, she was on Let's Make a Dope Deal. So you can take this meat cleaver and chop off your little finger, or you can listen to the album Helen Reddy, The Las Vegas Years. Give me the
No, I
cleaver.
guess we finally found out what happened because you remember when we heard about this a while back, Rob? This is months ago now, 6-7 months ago.
Yeah.
But I guess what she did was she threw a vodka bottle that hit a glass table, and somehow the glass flew up and cut his tip of his ring finger off.
Oh, man.
She should have chopped off his whole hand.
But I guess remember I said this was like they had said he had said to the press that he had hurt himself while making, I think it was the 4th Pirates movie or whatever, and that's why he had to have that bandage for so long. But yeah, actually that's what had happened. Is she
should have taken the whole hand, because then Jack Sparrow could have had a proper hook in the next movie, right?
Well, they're not bringing him back, but I wonder if they will now, but doubtful.
Mm-hmm.
The story nobody heard. Well, no, what I think is funny is that it just goes to show how the media was eating it up when she was out there making up bullshit. But then when the real shit's happening, I don't see it out there other than people like us getting it out there. You know, I've seen more of us talking about it in the last 24 hours than I have anybody else. Like, you know, like over on Yellow Flash, we're talking about it and stuff.
But she's a strong woman, no, Tom. She don't need no man, only to throw vodka bottles at for target.
She's a little fucking gold digger. Where the hell did his money go? He had like over $100-some million, at least.
He's
maybe
broke
it was really expensive vodka.
Well, they did say in the one court thing that he was spending like $30,000 a month on booze.
Well, he probably
be married to her. You have to spend.
I mean, if she keeps throwing all the bottles, he's gonna have to buy new ones, right?
Hey, Anna.
Well, I have exclusive audio actually of the moment where Amber Heard threw the vodka bottle at him, and it sounded a little like this. Oh man!
Breaking
hell! You scissored my hand. It was weird hearing him in that phone. Well, it wasn't a phone call; it was a recording. Because you know he's always doing his fucking voices in the movies. It's just weird just to hear him sound like a normal person.
You know, let me tell you, I could not. The one thing I didn't like about the first Pirates movie was him doing the Keith Richards impression, because it just sounded, he was just mumbling through the whole thing.
That's what Keith Richards does. Yeah, Black Phoenix, $30,000 on booze. I'm sure some of that booze was powdered booze that goes up your nose. But
who knows?
I have to do copious amounts of cocaine to go home to life on the hood. Tiberius Monk 84 or $5. I dedicate this to the great folks of Mead. I would love for Tom Connors to imitate Brie Larson complaining about how the Super Bowl isn't woke enough.
There's not enough girl players on the team, and it's all about the boys. And why do the boys gotta throw the ball around and go to the line? I don't
because that's the point of the game, to bring the ball over across the other player's goal.
Why don't they just keep kicking the ball through the sticks? That's fine.
Because you score more points if you actually cross the goal line with the ball.
But what if everybody wins? Then everybody would win.
But then nobody would get the trophy. And who would go to Disney World?
It's a metaphor.
You know, I saw her movie Basmati Blues in the at the dollar store.
Oh God. Yeah, I remember you say, like, is it worth it? I'm like, fuck no, ain't it free on YouTube? They can't give the shit away.
I'm like, should I buy this just for comedic, just
target practice?
It's kind of a movie you need to see, though.
Rookster. Who's the Rookster?
Are you still in Subway, rookie?
No, just got out of the hellhole. Thank you. Hooray.
Oh, Critic, what's going on?
Just got off work. This lady came in and she asked, how big's the 6-inch?
It's in the description, 6 inches.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But, you know, there are other ways to find out. But, yeah. What are you guys
Oh my
doing today?
God.
How's it going?
Oh, fantastic! I'm still recovering from the Kung flu.
I'm feeling about 6 inches,
That's the right way to feel, man.
Brother.
according to everybody else. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding.
I was
No, that's full funny.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying to Tom that I saw the Brie Larson movie Basmati Blues at the dollar store. I'm like, that's how bad a movie this must be. That
It
it's in
sounds
the
really
dollar store
expensive.
and nobody wanted to buy it. Oh, we got
I mean, that
let's
sounds
see.
overpriced. That sounds overpriced, man. Wow.
Oh yeah.
I'd say digital
we
download
got
for free.
No.
Yeah.
Neil's in the chat. Black Phoenix is in chat. Slithering Peanut. Natasha. Hey, Natasha, how's it going? You know you can't always join us because you're in the Netherlands. But now how's it going?
Michael Keller, Thundercats.
Keller.
Oh,
Captain Robert April's in the chat. Thundercats. Ho. Read by Nature.
Manuel.
Yes. So there was something weird that was happening though, Tom, on that animation thing you did. On the
What
animation. Well, it kept when yesterday. Oh yeah, we miss you too, Natasha. It's always good when you join us. It was weird because you would click on the video and it would bring you to the page where the video was. But on the side was all things like Peppa the Pig, and talking about
Jesus.
I'm like, what? And I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't right. I'm like, I got to tell Tom about this because we don't want to get whacked with any COPPA complaints. But it's fixed now. But I'm like, that's weird. Because one of the things they said, oh, you can't have any animated characters. But obviously this is not.
No, that's not what they said.
No, that's an older. That actually used to happen a while back too. There's a while where they're pushing more kid-friendly videos for some reason, like on channels that have nothing to do with it. Like on home pages of YouTube channels, they'd even have oh, these are recommendation ones, some featured favorites or something, and it's like Looney Toony Booty Toony something, and it's like, what the hell is this?
I actually read I read all the court cases and everything involved, and the thing that people are missing is that it all has to do with collection of data. It has nothing to do with what's really in your videos. And whether or not you fall under COPPA is whether or not your videos fall within children's programming. And in the one court case, all the names they listed, even companies like Disney and Nickelodeon and stuff like that, it wasn't even their main stuff. It was like Nick Jr. and some like preschool thing for Disney and some other thing. Yeah, and toys.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, yeah, I mean, YouTube usually does that whenever there's an algorithm change.
But just so people know what we're talking about, because I don't even know if you finally did get to see it, is what you were saying then.
Yes.
Here's the bad skit from last night on Shenanigans, in case anybody wants to see it.
Hey, you. Oh, shit, man. Why could it have been the cops? Okay, man.
Where are the other drugs going?
What?
Where are the other drugs going?
What?
Don't play dumb with me.
I'm not playing dumb, man. I am dumb. I don't know what drugs you're talking about.
Bullshit. Wait, are you really dumb?
What?
Huh?
Dumb?
Yeah, like deaf and dumb. Like the miracle worker.
It was the other girl, Helen Keller.
Huh?
The miracle worker was the other one. Helen Keller was played by Laura Ingalls, man.
Who?
You know, the chick from Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, yeah. I really love that show.
Whoa, what are we talking about?
Drugs. Where are they going, dummy? Wait, is that like a slur if you really are dumb?
Dumb means you can't talk, like mute, not, never mind.
Okay, smartass. Where are they going?
Who?
The drugs. Where are they?
I don't know what drugs you're looking for, man, I swear.
I'm on a pod, seriously.
That's good.
Brilliant.
And then, of course, we had the other one, too, from a couple weeks ago. I don't know if anybody saw that one, but yeah, most people here have.
I saw the first one.
But if one person hasn't, you should show it again.
Is that your way of telling me I should show it again?
Or the one from before that you said.
Yeah, because have you ever seen it, Jeff?
I don't think so. I mean, I've seen
weird.
like 2 of your Batman animation things.
Yeah, there's only 2 of them so far.
Okay.
Outside of the song.
Wait, there was one from a while back though that you showed on screen too, but I don't know if it was yours or you're working on one.
Oh, you might be thinking of the AI Batman.
I think so. It could have been.
Yeah. Here's the other one we did like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, how to be a cool superhero. First things first, you gotta have a cool car. You ain't got no money, so that's not happening. Second, you gotta have a cool costume. We'll have to work on that. All right, then you also have to be able to solve really complicated cases and solve crimes and kick cloud ass.
Kind of like stopping that lady over there from being robbed.
It's just
Are you fucking serious? That dude's got a gun. Okay, let the real cops handle that. We only go after people like the Joker and Penguin and Poison Ivy and occasionally Catwoman, depending on what kind of mood she is that time of the month. Okay, we don't deal with that kind of stuff.
You're scared of guns, aren't you?
Fucking terrified. Nope, Batman don't do guns.
That is your calling card, man. That is your calling card, you guys.
Stargate 404, $5 super chat. Could you pass this to Andre for a bottle of mead? There's a new show on Netflix in Norwegian on Netflix called Ragnarok. Curious to see what he thinks. Yes, bro.
It looks shit.
I was gonna say, is that one of those? I'm trying to think of the name of the company, but
yeah, it sounded like one of those kind of knockoffy ones. I think.
Yeah,
one of the spoofers, kind of rip off the main titles from others and try to look like a different movie. It could be. That could be something different.
Like Transmorphers and.
I'll actually double check right now. I heard of that a while back.
When Toys R Us used to be around, used to have tons of those movies. Remember in the $5 bin?
Yeah.
Off like. Yeah, Transmorphers, the Mighty Nobots.
I watched Transmorphers. I was very confused because the theme song started and it's like, Transmorphers, I used to be a guy.
Oh
Transmorphers, I got mascara in my eye.
Yeah,
it was
Ragnarok
a totally different movie than what I was expecting.
Yeah, Ragnarok looks kind of, I don't even know what the hell this looks like. Some dude with electricity out of his hands, kind of.
Yeah.
And the sky is like a cloud, and it says this is where it all begins.
Well, what's funny is when Thor came out, they did like 5 different Thor movies because Thor's public domain. He's he's not a copyrightable character.
Yeah, I remember seeing all the copies, especially on Netflix. Netflix was really eager to pump those ones out.
I remember the one with Richard Grieco as Loki. That was fucking hilarious.
It's cultural appropriation.
It's cultural appropriation.
Yeah, the script doctor is saying the law states the crime is the act of collecting and selling data, which is what YouTube does, and they want to throw us under the bus.
Pretty much,
if anything. Yeah, and Mecca was telling me to say, "Oh, what am I going to do if I get fined? What am I going to do?" I said, "You know what we're going to do?" She says, I told her I will go on Rachel Maddow. I will go on MSNBC. I will go on Chris Hayes' show. I will go on. Fox News, I will go on CNN, I will go on any show that will have me and say YouTube and Google threw their creators under the bus. Now it is time for them to step up and take responsibility.
Oh yeah, well, and plus they wouldn't just be able to find you and then they just take your money. Like you're able to come up with a defense or a comeback because they can't just go, you are fined, you broke the law, and here you go. Like you have room to rebuttal to prove that you're innocent.
Well, here's the thing is that a lot of people were just going off the one memo. They didn't actually read anything. So a lot of people did exactly what YouTube, wanted them to, and that was spread a bunch of fear. And
that's really all they did. Was the wording that I think was going around too with the misinformation.
And yeah, because basically like I told Andre, I'm like, really, our asses should be covered if we just have a little disclaimer in the beginning that says, just so you know, YouTube is collecting your information if you're not signed in.
Yep. And it's like based on your audience. I mean, because you can check to see the age level of the majority of your audience, and if most of them are adults, then you're obviously.
Well, the thing is it doesn't matter if somebody signed in. That's how they get that info. Once somebody signed in, COPPA doesn't apply. It's for those who are not signed in, where it's set up. It's like, okay, basically a kid could wander onto your site, and like I read one of the court cases, like it was like a I think it was like owned by Mattel or one of those Hasbro, something like that. And all it was a website that had like paper dolls that kids did. Nothing was, wrong with the site, but they got in trouble with COPPA because what they were doing was collecting data and they didn't let people know. That was the only thing they did wrong.
Well, yeah, and I think they want people, if you're trying to target kids, to abide within the COPPA's rules. If you're trying to
Right, and that's really what it is. So if you think that there's a plausibility you might have something on your channel that could be aimed towards kids, just put yourself a disclaimer on the front. You should be fine.
Yeah, or in the description or in your about page too. That all helps.
Yeah, and really what it all is just to let people know that if they're not signed in, their data is still being collected.
And can be proven and defended in the court of law.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. DCV Titan sent us Canadian $5. You didn't do the right thing, Rob. Where's our
Well, I don't have that. I mean, I have Central Australia.
Not even fucking close.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Oh, okay, wait. Maybe this one will do it. Hold on.
I like that one.
Wrong direction.
No. Well, it's in continent though. I mean, just so maybe this one. No. Okay.
No.
Play the Airwolf theme.
Okay. Almighty.
I want to hear it.
You guys ever see the series of the Almighty Johnsons, Todd and the Book of Pure Evil? No, I haven't. But I'm not gonna forget that name, the Almighty Johnsons.
The Almighty Johnsons.
That's a hell of a bookmark.
The story of the Ryan Johnson's ancestors.
Oh no! Don't say his name too much.
It said the Book of Pure Evil, so you know.
Here you go, Rob. Here you go, Rob.
The penis mightier than the sword.
Truer words have never been spoken, Stig.
So I'm hoping everybody's enjoying. Actually, speaking of Ryan Roundhead Johnson, I'm hoping everybody is enjoying the new video we dropped on the main channel.
Yeah,
and for the people who say, "Oh, the video sounds biased," you're damn right. It sounds biased.
I did make him cut out one of the more biased lines, or I should say, I cut it out on his behalf.
Yeah, well,
that was the only line. I'm like, no, we can't have that in a mini documentary.
Which one was it?
The one about Baby Yoda overshadowing Rey.
Oh, okay. I didn't even notice.
I was like, well, we don't have anything to back it up. I'm not saying you're wrong.
You just ain't right, you know.
But it was obviously pure Rob's opinion, and that was it. And it's like, here's the thing for those who don't understand. Andre does editorials. Those are all opinion pieces, right? Rob does the mini documentaries and some of the long form retrospectives type things, unless Andre decides to do it because it's like Conan or something like that. That's basically where the line's drawn. So if you're hearing Rob do a video, that usually means it's stuff that we're pulling from actual sources, and you know, it's not going to have a bunch of bias in it. Now, Andre doesn't hide that. He'll flat out say that this is my opinion, this is an editorial, blah, 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 blah. And of course, Rob does his own editorials on his own channel, and you know, I've done a few in the past, but I don't generally do that many.
Well, the one thing we did leave in was about how Kathleen Kennedy said, we don't have 800-page novels. We don't have comic books.
She said it. She said it has nothing to do with opinion. It's fucking fact. That's bullshit. We know it's bullshit.
Bull and shit. Apparently she had no, you know, I don't think we've all said this before, and I don't think she knows a damn thing about Star Wars. I really don't.
Well, I
don't think she knows.
To me, if I'm Bob Iger right now, I'm sitting here going, how the fuck did you not notice for 6 months that this show and this show had the same fucking plot?
Yeah.
You are so fucking competent There's people that actually do that job for you. How did nobody notice that you have a very similar fucking storyline here?
Well, the story group are not doing their job for sure. It's their job to keep.
I think she's full of shit. I think Mecca's right. I think that she was full of shit when she said they had a script done. All they had was the original movie script, probably, which was pretty much probably what they were working off of, and it was about Obi-Wan Kenobi protecting young Luke, probably from a distance or whatever, but it's still close enough to the fact that it's about somebody protecting a young person on a or a person who can't defend themselves on a desert planet with a lot of Western kind of motifs. And yeah, of course it's going to probably be damn near the same story in that sense. A young Jedi.
It's also about the character, so it's like it could be similar and still good and different.
Right, but my point is this: you had all this time, okay?
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's just as bad as the Last Jedi situation, and those two things alone, to me, warrant her resignation and removal. I'm sorry, she's not fit for this job. And with all due respect to people like Robert Meyer Burnett and other people who think we're wrong when we say it, she is the reason for this. She is the cause for this. And even if she didn't necessarily make all these decisions, the buck stopped with her until recently, according to Bob Iger. So again, and I believe our video, I do think she's on the outskirts. I don't think she's in the fucking know anymore. I think it's been a while since she's been in the know.
How many people
you can't blame me, Thomas. I'm a woman. I'm above blame. It's all your fault. You're a toxic man.
How many people has she hired and fired? Like
she has fired more people than she's actually hired.
Like with every project, people seem to get excited real quick. Like, hey, wow, you got that person, great, and they're halfway done filming. Yeah, get out here. Wait, what? Okay,
more than halfway.
She's a twat.
Well, let's go run up and down the scoreboard, okay? She's hired J.J. Abrams, right? She's hired Rian Johnson.
They actually got the finished movies, and then what's his face from Godzilla? He got technically fired near the end of at the end of Rogue One, and Tony Gilroy.
Edwards.
Yeah, Gareth Edwards, and then Tony Gilroy or whatever had to come in and finish it for him. And then
Ward and Chris Miller, they're a pack. They're
Ward and Chris Miller, but that's still two of them. And then, but you forgot two in between there. You forgot Josh Trank.
Oh, Josh Trank, that's right.
Yeah, who was he gonna? What was he gonna do?
He was gonna do the Boba Fett movie first, and then James Mangold took over, and then he ended up getting booted when they decided to go with the Mandalorian instead. So there's already more people than she's actually hired, and then she's already fired.
And then
what's kind of
JJ.
You know what's kind of fun though? Rogue One is getting a lot of praise and all that. And Kathleen Kennedy says, we had no source material or books or whatever. And Rogue One is just a retelling of an old expanded universe story.
Yeah.
They just renamed Jan Ors Jyn Erso. Even the droid is the same. And it's all about stealing the Death Star plans.
You were telling me that a while back, and
Jan Ors was an Asian woman, so they had an Asian there.
Wow.
People loved.
So they whitewashed again.
Yeah,
and they Brit washed her too.
Yeah,
Britain,
and she has almost the identical same background story as Jan Ors.
Really?
Wow.
Well, I remember you telling me a lot about this before. I've never read the book, but.
It's also a video game called Dark Forces.
And I know they stole a bunch of names from the Droid series, like Kylo Ren is a close name to a name in the Droid series, and there was another name too. Or there was a girl that was a lot like Rey, and I can't remember her name, but yeah, anyway. Stargate 404 sent us $5, Rob.
$5 super chat. What I don't get is that SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, cases Ashcroft versus ACLU and Reno versus ACLU still stand. They struck down the CDA and the original COPA. Someone should sue. Well, I that's case law. I can't speak for that. I'm not familiar with those cases, but
here's the thing from what I gather. COPA isn't out to like just nail people. I mean, they've even said in their one memo, like it all has to do with, the infraction, how bad it is, the size of the business, and the stuff that they're talking about. It doesn't even sound like they're really worried about the little guys.
Yeah, no. If anything, they're really trying to get like the people that are, from what I read as well, that it's like people that are presenting something as if it's for kids, but it shouldn't be for kids.
Well, it's not even so much that as it is just the sale of things to kids. Because I heard mostly what's going to get targeted is like Hasbro, Mattel, Nickelodeon, Disney, that kind of stuff. And we're talking the lower level stuff. We're not even talking their main shit. We're talking the preschool age stuff, basically.
Right.
And it's more so like how they're, I read through it one night. I spent hours and hours going through 2 or 3 different court cases, including the one against Google. And again, I stress this. They are passing the buck on to us. The only reason we are found liable in any way, bless you, is just because we know that YouTube is actually collecting data on our behalf. That's the only reason we're in this. So like I said, I think the disclaimer should pretty much save all our asses. And it just, it's even one of those things where even if you're probably never going to get touched, like Midnight Side should never even be bothered. We're even talking about doing some toy reviews, but that's the thing. Even in one of their cases, they flat out said, we know there's adult collectibles. We know there's adult animation and stuff like that. Yeah. That's not covered in this.
Yeah, there's even a channel, Brizzy Voices, who has like 2 million subs, and she was worried for a while about Kappa. Like, she had misinformation about it as well. But I think by now she's fine too. She just puts a disclaimer in the beginning and does her stuff because she does like impressions of cartoon voices and stuff. But it's for adults,
right? Well, even this thing where I see people with the disclaimer already because I think some people listened to me or the word got around. But I think they got the wrong message. It's not so much you have to say this isn't for kids. That doesn't fucking matter. It just matters that you tell them that their data is being collected when they're not signed in. That's the whole gist of it. That's the crutch.
I think it's the main thing that people don't understand either, like the collection of data.
Yeah, because like I said, once somebody signs in, COPPA doesn't matter. They have signed any and all rights away at that point. It's those who are not signed in, and those who are not signed in, the only way we can let them know that their data is being collected, and it really is just, that's it. That's the only way I can see. But anyway, I don't want to get too deep into that.
Right. This is a conversation everybody loves, right?
Yeah, right.
We're getting pretty deep in the weeds. Yeah, I just looked over on the Hasbro on one of the Hasbro channels, and their comments are turned off. So they're
already complying. Yeah. And the other problem with this is that YouTube on their part doesn't have a button for just general audiences. That's the other problem.
Yeah, I agree. Because it's like it's for kids or it's not for kids. And it's like that's not specific at all. Well,
hey Anna, glad to hear that you're working on the new disclaimer. And I sent you a link, Anna. I didn't know if you got that. Obviously, you're busy though, so if not, you can pop in. But I
actually only stay for a couple more minutes.
That's fine. No, I like it. This is a lazy Sunday stream. We'll have a few people pop in here and there, I'm sure. I sent out a few links.
Yeah, Script Doctor said he's on his way home. Then he'll probably.
Yeah, he should be popping in here soon anyway. And when Script Doctor gets in here, we'll probably talk a lot of gritty nitty. I was bummed. I thought we were going to get a Bill and Ted trailer today, but I guess they're just promoting that Walmart thing that we showed the other night. I haven't heard anything about what trailers we're supposed to get for the Super Bowl. Has anybody else?
No idea at all. There's been no hype.
That's what I'm saying. I thought for sure we'd get like a Jurassic trailer or something. Or
I almost didn't even know that it was a Super Bowl today. I assumed it's usually in the middle of the month, but it's like, it's like right now. Oh, okay. All right.
Well, Stig needs to pop off here soon. He does have a channel, and he doesn't like people to go check it out. But we suggest you check out his channel because he has some of the greatest countdowns I've ever seen on the internet.
Yeah, I suggest you subscribe to Stig and follow him on Twitter. And watch this funny man do his one-liners.
When I get 200 subs, I'll make another video.
Make it happen, people.
Yeah. I'm 20 away from 200.
There you go. Get your butts over there. I'll get the link.
Yeah, you guys can do it. There's over.
You can also check out Stig on Shenanigans, of course, and other places. He likes to call himself an extended family member.
Yeah, I'm not really Fandom Menace or Comic Gate or anything like that. I just know people.
You're just a good person. You're just a good man.
Just a normal person, mostly.
And he's one of the funniest men on YouTube.
Yes.
No, Mike Zero is way more fun.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but Mike Zero's not funny though. That's the thing.
Well,
Yeah.
I only have 5 minutes of content, so 200 subs for 5 minutes is pretty good.
Hey, it's some of the best content out there. In fact, right when you leave, I'll probably show one of your videos.
YouTube is really easy.
Which one do I like? Oh, I like the top 5 things for winter.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that one.
Well, you do that, and I'll do me.
All right, you take care, sir, and it's been a pleasure having you as always.
Take care. Take care. Be well, all of you.
Take care, everybody. Or take care. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Later.
Here we go. Here's a little piece of Stig's work. This stuff is gold.
See this masterpiece.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to my top 5 things for winter. I know a lot of people have been asking me about what my top 5 winter things are. So here goes. Number 1, a green meep. Number 2, a rock on the beach. Big rock.
A bed.
Genius.
Number 3, a retarded train with a face. I want to look at the camera.
I think that's my favorite.
That's just great. Number 5, a creepy swamp. Best thing ever. Creepy swamp.
This feels like a nice swamp.
Some of you might wonder why I didn't do number 4. Can't help you with that. I would like to mention as a little bonus, the albatross flying above the ocean. There you go. That was my top 5 winter list. Hope you all enjoyed. Take care and be well.
The humor's so subtle. I love it.
That's why he's one of the funniest men on YouTube.
He's just like, well, don't worry about it. I can't help you there.
Yeah, I did see the Bill Murray Groundhog Day special ad for Jeep. I don't know. I'd show it, but we'd probably get copy struck for it or something.
Most likely. They just love to go. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Would indeed.
Well, yeah. Remember we all got suckered into the by the Australia one last year, remember?
Oh,
What?
for Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, it was really a commercial for the Australian Tourism Board.
I was so bummed. I'm like, this would be such a great movie.
Yeah, it would. It would be a great movie. And freaking the Hemsworth guy in there. Which Hemsworth? I don't know which Hemsworth that was.
It was Chris.
They all, they all look alike to me. So
No,
Hemsworth racist.
They're all clones, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, from the base in Australia. Yeah. They just pump them out.
Yeah. So what have I got? I'll Night at the Museum's on right now for some strange reason. I keep saying, I was just telling Tom off the air that they do a 7-hour Super Bowl pregame show from like 11 in the morning all the way up to kickoff. I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching that. Screw that.
What are they talking about?
Who the hell?
They just drinking
Football is football, and football is football.
Like, this is, oh my God.
The offense and the defense have to get their act together. They got to stop the run. They got to get some good pass defense. They got to make sure special teams need to step up too. Yeah, I mean that's for 7 hours. Oh, they got an interview with the president. I mean, yeah. I mean, but but I don't want to. Yeah,
it's not really getting you hyped for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Natasha, 7 hours. Yeah, it started when I was a kid. It used to be maybe like an hour and a half, 90 minutes.
90 minutes.
2 hours.
No, and then you also got to have. Let's go to Oprah and see who thinks she thinks going to win. Let's go to the leading scientist in the world and see who he thinks going to win. Let's go to the leading cat in the world and see who he thinks going to win.
Now let's Oh, Puppy Bowl is on though. I mean, Puppy Bowl.
Well, Puppy Bowl's a classic.
I mean, they just have the puppies run around and play around, and there you go.
It's impossible to be sad during Puppy Bowl. It really is. And they're all up for adoption to North Shore Animal League. Which is really cool.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to hear a very short Super Bowl story that was horrible?
Absolutely. I'm always good.
Yeah. So I was a little younger. I was maybe like 10 or so, and my dad was like, "Hey, do you guys want to go to a Super Bowl party?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" Me and my brother. I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." But my dad took us to this old lady's house, and we're like, "Okay, we're at an old lady's house." We were imagining a big screen TV, imagining some drinks, some pizza, soda, all that stuff. Big room, big fun, all that. Nope, it's some old lady's house, and there's no food, and a small TV, like less than like a 20-incher or something, and one of the fat TVs, and it was just really lame experience. And then their basement. Okay, I was 10 and never saw Star Trek, so you guys would probably love it because there was the whole basement was full of unopened Star Trek everything. And I don't know, as a kid, I never saw Star Trek, so I'm just like, what the hell is this? Like unopened toys, just the faces of the whatchamacallums. I was weirded out as a kid. I was like, what the hell is this?
Wow, that was probably like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fucking shit now.
Well, yeah, but it's like the guy that was there was just like he's creeping. I don't know, man. And then it was just old people. So it was a Super Bowl party, but full of old people only, and then 2 kids, like me and my brother, and it was just the worst. It's just like, oh yeah, this is fun, right? So we're trying to watch football and just old people commentary, which would be funny. It's funny now, but I don't know, man. It's just not the best thing. If I liked Star Trek, then the basement would have been cool to hang out, but I didn't at the time, and I still haven't actually watched Star Trek quite yet. So yeah, I had no attachment at the time, but that was like just not exactly the typical Super Bowl party.
I don't know. I wonder if you should start with oh, hey, how you doing, 19K Fox?
What's going on, guys?
And we got frickin' Anthony here too, by the way.
Anthony,
What's going on?
And he's just here to make us all look bad. That's all. Musically.
I feel like I'm the odd man out here. Hold on a sec. There we go.
That's better.
That's just because all of us besides you and 19K Fox probably have faces for radio. Well, that's not true. Rookster's kind of cute.
Yeah, I'm cute, but I don't have my actual good camera on. So if I were to put it on, I'd be pixelated rookie. And there's already enough pixel people out there today.
Come on, Rookie, you're gorgeous.
Oh,
Otherwise,
no.
you got Jabba the Hutt on me here, and then Rob, he's just Mario minus the mustache. So
It's me, Rob.
That's a big difference.
Take
away the mustache. That's a big difference.
I wish I
But
could.
yeah, I'm glad you guys just showed up though, because I actually got to head out now.
well, it's great having you, Jeff. So it's fun when you get to stop by.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, you guys have been awesome and kicking some booty and whatnot. Hilarious videos. I love your guys' Batman shorts. You guys need to do more of those.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm thinking about every other week.
Well, it's like think about it when you're in a live stream and you're doing your Batman stuff. It's like just record. Just take.
Well, that last one actually came from a riff on some other stream. I don't remember which one it was now, but yeah, I ended up writing it down and.
Yeah, so you can do half the work without having to put in the work, like on purpose.
Seriously, I'm out of pot.
It's all right, man. We can always try. Our different Batmans are all good. But yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
All right, take care, man. We appreciate it.
Later, Rook.
Have a good one.
So, how are you boys doing today? How you doing, 19K Fox?
Pretty good, guys. I had to work today, so I kind of got my ass kicked, but I'm
Damn.
doing okay.
How about you,
Yeah.
Anthony?
Just having a bum day. My last day of vacation time, so back to work tomorrow.
Lucked
so,
out and got Super Bowl Sunday off, huh? Or do you usually even work weekends? I thought you worked weekends sometimes.
I do. I took the last 5 days off, so.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah. So tomorrow I go back. So.
I wish I'd have known. We could have messed with some music.
Yeah, well, I was under the gun for that ash can. I finally got them 5 painted.
Oh, that's
pages.
right. You were working on that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I got them 5 pages and the cover finished with colors and lettering and everything. So 5 more pages to go, but at least it's halfway done. So
That's right. For those of you who don't know Anthony, he's multi-talented. So he, as Rob says, he likes to make us all look bad.
I'm sorry. Did I ever show you anything else from the Robot Shlomo guitar collection?
No.
Actually, this is entertain the crowd while I get something out time. This will be
Ducka 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 ducka. Ducka 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 ducka. Da da da. Whoa.
I'll actually be on Mandy's channel later at 9.
Oh, Mandy, she's awesome. Hey, there's Rebecca. We didn't know didn't read the messages earlier, so we didn't know if you were home. So, but if you want to pop in here too, I'll send you the link here.
Yeah, we've been holding that close to the chest. So she finally just posted last week the cover and one of the panels from one of the pages today, and I guess she's finally gonna have me on to talk about it. So that should be pretty cool.
Did she post it on Twitter?
She did, I think.
This is actually
Les Paul?
Yeah, this is actually my main app.
That's nice.
That looks just like my Black Beauty almost.
1981 Les Paul Standard.
I was going to say 1982, but all right.
Yeah, I got a Black Beauty replica. It looks a lot like that, actually.
This is from the era where they really didn't do the dish carve on the top. Yeah, and it's got I don't know if you can see it. It's got the voluted neck on that.
Nice. Yeah. That's got to be comfortable.
Damn.
Yeah. The only thing is, this is heavy as a motherfucker.
Yeah. The old 80s Les Pauls, man, they were like a sack of bricks tied to your neck.
I'm stealing that. That's mine.
She said.
Have you ever seen my Black Beauty?
No, but I don't think you could show that on YouTube.
No, that's what she's called. It's a replica of BB King's or whatever his guitar.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have the Epiphone? Yeah, we saw one of those out in Vegas, actually, an autographed BB King.
Yeah.
Somebody had one.
But it's got all the gold knobs. It's pure black with the pearl inlay kind of thing. And yeah, it's got the same kind of knobs as Rob's there, the same two kind of pickups. Everything's just gold other than black, though. Yeah. Same gold kind of knobs, too.
Except his is a Gibson, though. So,
yeah, his is a Gibson, but mine.
So it's got all better, higher end shit.
The story behind this is the guy selling it was moving to Long Island. And so he was selling for $500, and his mom was selling it for him. So I called. I said, "Do you still have the guitar?" Yeah.
Well, mine's a Gibson too.
Well, technically, yeah. So I said, "Do you still have the guitar?" Yeah. How much? $500. Okay, I'll be right down. So I went down. You got a guitar? Yeah. I just here you go, $500. She goes, "That's it. That's it. Here, $500." And I just gave her $500. This is back in 1991.
I got mine for $300 for that and the big ass fucking amp.
Yeah, because I mean, used now that guitar probably goes for like $600.
This is pretty much what mine looks like here.
Well,
nice.
That's sexy.
See, I've just got my Warlock in the closet, and I've got my Fender acoustic.
You can't really see the gold real well, but yeah, all this is gold here. See that? You can kind of see it more here.
I saw one of these at a convention for that same model, same year, same model, same finish, $2,800. But this is nowhere near the condition. Yeah.
Bill.
Greetings.
So
I'll show you the diamond in my collection, and this is a good story too.
You got your 12 string and
Oh, I saw you got a new 12 string, Anthony. Yeah, because I bought my 12 string when Rob was out here the first time in September, and I've barely touched it because he broke a string like the second time we played it, and I've never gone around to it. I've been so lazy to change the string.
Well, it's a pain in the ass to change those strings.
Well, I mean, I got all the shit for it. I mean, I've got the strings and I got the little thing, but yeah, I just haven't had time to go in and do it. So I've got my other 12 string, but that's the Martin. So and then, well, that's the only 12 string I have. That's the Martin, and then of course I've got the other two over here. So I now have 3 Martins that I'm probably not nearly talented enough to use.
This is,
and then of course my Warlock. But.
It's a Parker.
Parker Fly, but this is a one of a kind. This I actually got this at a flea market.
No way.
Yeah, I got this a Kurzweil full size. I forget the model number. It's like a $4,000 keyboard. I got the keyboard, a keyboard amp, monitor, speakers, and this all for $2,000 at a flea market. And then I went back like a year or so later. I was back in the area. I was looking for the guy because I had been there a few times and he was always there selling stuff. And he wasn't there. And I bumped into a guy who also I just knew from also frequenting that guy's stand. And I said, hey, whatever happened to that guy in the back with all the music stuff? He's like, oh, you didn't hear? He got arrested. He was selling stolen goods. I was like, shit, I bought a lot of stuff off this guy. So I kept this thing hidden in a closet. I wouldn't even touch it because I was like, I didn't want to get like popped for like possession of stolen goods, because I found out that it wasn't a replica. I don't know if you could see that.
Oh, it's like ghosted in it?
Yeah, kill switch engage.
No way.
Yeah. So I reached out to they were playing here about 2 years ago, and finally I was like, I got it, like karma and like my guilt and everything. So I reached out to a local radio station because he was friends with the one DJ was friends with the manager of Kill Switch. And he put me in contact with the management team, and I said, listen, I bought this guitar a while back. I feel like it's yours, and I want to get it back to the guys. They asked me to send them pictures. I sent them pictures. They're like, yep, that's our guitar, but you keep it. You spent your money on it. So,
wow, that was really cool.
Badass.
Yeah, and they offered, like, you know, next time they were in the area, if I wanted to, they'd reach out. They'd send me tickets to the show. So,
oh wow, that's cool.
Oh, you've got to get it signed.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that.
I wonder if one of them sold it for some stupid reason.
No, the funny part was, like, when you opened the case, there was a note. Like, you can see that there's tape holding this on. The guts are all taken out. They're all in the case. Like, it needed to be redone.
Oh, so they send it in for repair. Gotcha.
And yeah, there was a note in the case that, you know, I guess to the guitar techs, like, you know, to the roadies and stuff, like, this needs to be, you know, fixed or whatever. And yeah, they were on tour. I found out the story. They were on tour. The equipment came into this loading area where they were storing everything until the show. And this guy just went in and took all their stuff and faked like a robbery. And of course, after like a year investigation, they found out it was him and some other guy.
That's what led to it, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's weird.
Yeah, so this is now. Once I got that the okay that I could keep it and it's mine, now it hangs on my wall. So
here's.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, here's the other one too. I got another one.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Ooh, beautiful.
Yeah,
I love that red.
Yeah, I like the red.
2002 Korean made Epiphone Casino. This comes from the Korean Peerless factory. For some reason, these are sought after more now than the Chinese one. I'm like, there's very little difference. I'm like, why? It's because, well, no, it's Korean made. I'm like, it doesn't make a difference. They're the same exact instrument. It doesn't make a difference. The only thing is, I put a set of Grovers on the back of this. On this.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can see those.
Oh, is that the one you were fixing about 6-7 months back or whatever?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I remember now. Ryan sent us a $2 super chat. Ryan Cannell. He says can't join us. He's watching the Super Bowl, but love you guys. Oh, we love you too, Ryan. Yeah, I sent a few links out.
The only downside to this, though, Anthony, is that the Grovers make the headstock heavy. So
yeah, I have the guitar that I usually play up until I got the 12 string. The 12 string is a Dean also, but my Dean, I got that for free because my aunt's cousin had 3 guitars, gave me all 3 guitars, said sell 2 of them, keep 1. And so I kept the Dean, and I sold one of them, and I'm still trying to sell it. Like years and years later, I still had this guitar because I won't sell it for anything less than $300 because it's a 1960s height hollow body, which back in the 60s, a height was like, you know, you could go into, you know, Sears and buy a guitar for like $60, but that's what like the Beatles were using and stuff like that. These are like the Japanese made guitars that.
But that's still not horrible with inflation. That's probably like almost $200 guitar almost, or $170 some guitar probably.
Right, like if it was brand new to this day, yeah, definitely. So And the only thing
So
it's
like a
missing-
Stratocaster level ish.
Yeah. And like I said, these were like the ones that like the old, like the old rock guys and blues and jazz guys would play. I have it still in the box in my room. That's the only one that I don't have out but it looks kind of like the one you just showed us. It's got that hollow body.
The one thing is, this is because there's a latch over here, and I would always forget to open this. So I took some crayon, open me.
I know one of my Black Beauties is the same way. I always forget that one.
Actually, it did slightly bend the case, so you gotta be a little careful. But
I know if you forget it. Every time I open it up, though, my cat loves it. He'll jump right in there and lay down. He'll sleep in there until I kick his ass out. He loves the fuzzy inside.
Oh, yeah.
Remind me, guys, since we're talking about music, I gotta keep an eye on this auction.
What is it for?
I'm trying to get the original soundtrack to the 1977 Hobbit, Rankin and Bass.
Oh wow!
Special.
I didn't even know they sold the soundtrack.
I didn't either until I found this son of a bitch, and I'm like, I'm not losing it. So, and of course, now that I said it, 20 people out there are going to outbid me that are watching the show. You dirty bastards!
Everybody on the eBay.
I grew up on that shit. I loved The Hobbit when I was a kid. That was my introduction to Lord of the Rings. It was one of my. I seen it on TV, and then it was one of my first VHSs. Not my first VHS, but one of my first, because my cousins bought it for me. It was one of those first few movies they had in the sell-through, like cheap knockoff Good Times videos kind of thing. I don't remember what company released it, but yeah, it was. I watched that thing till it wore out.
Yeah, me too. And then a couple of years ago, I went online and I stumbled across a site that happened to have them and burnt them to DVD. So I have all three.
Yeah, I got the DVDs, and I got the Blu-ray of the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings movie, I think, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I think that one's on Blu-ray. Yeah, the Rankin and Bass Hobbit. Never heard of that Techman Blade. It was 1977. It came out. It was a TV special, roughly. I think it was like 45 minutes, hour long, somewhere in there. Really condensed version of The Hobbit, but not bad. Very well done. It captured most of what needed to be in the story for the most part. I mean, Gollum was a little weird, but I love the voice.
He looked like a big frog.
Yeah, outside of his looks.
Yeah, you have and then there was like the Lord of the Rings was actually what, a year later?
Yeah, 78 or 79, yeah.
That was Bashki, right?
Yep, that was the Bakshi version, or Bashki, however you say his name, I can't remember now. And then that was supposed to have a sequel because they were going to do all 3 books and 2 movies, but that didn't do well enough in the theaters that they never finished it. And then like in 83 or something like that, Rankin and Bass went back and did Return of the King and finished off the story kind of, but it's more of a sequel to The Hobbit than it is. So it's like this convoluted mess of a series, but yeah.
And that was all done with rotoscoping.
The one with Bakshi, yeah.
Bakshi, that was rotoscoping, yeah. That was really
still
cool.
Not too clear on the process, but I'm sure there's somebody out there who will explain it.
It's basically what they would do is they would film like you acting out a scene, right? And then they would transfer that to like this paper stock, I think, or whatever. Or no, they had like a light box, didn't they? I think, Anthony, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, or
yeah, it was weird. They would like you said, they would film people doing something actual, and then they would like layer it with actual animation.
Yeah, it was actually done over top of it, so then it would look like, it was like really well done. They would get every.
It's an elaborate trace that they just transfer.
Yeah, it's basically like tracing. Yeah,
He-Man did that, and She-Ra did that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Filmation did that all the time.
Yeah,
but sometimes they didn't redraw over like the film, like because it was like late 70s, early 80s, so they got like real artsy with it. So like sometimes in the background, like you see like the fights going on, they didn't even draw over the guys fighting. They just had them dressed in costumes fighting, and then like layered different colors and like.
I think that was because they ran out of money, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's just a development process, like messing around with the film.
You're talking about the trial, like with the Last Unicorn.
The Last Unicorn was one that was done. I think they had some rotoscoping in that as well.
There was Wizards. Wizards had a lot of that.
Yeah, and then there was Wizards and Fire and Ice. That's a good one too. That one I think had a lot of rotoscoping in it. I'm trying to think what else they did. Bakshi did a lot of rotoscope. Oh, American Pop had a ton of rotoscoping in it. That's a great movie. I don't know if anybody's seen that here on the panel, but I love that movie.
I've not, but I will check it out.
I have seen some of it.
Basically, it's Bakshi took real pop songs, loosely based a story around certain real people that did exist, but it's like a story of a family and a kid and his kid growing up through generations in music from I think the 40s through the now. Well, it would have been then, like the early 80s or whatever. So it's kind of a neat movie, and you got they got real actors and they're acting out the parts, and then they rotoscoped over them and stuff. It's a good movie. I liked it. I don't think it gets enough praise. Like Heavy Metal always gets noticed and stuff like that, because that one I think too had some rotoscoping in it. It came out in around the same period, and for some reason when those movies came out on DVD, they came out together all the time. I don't know why. Maybe just because Sony happened to own both of them. And they both had something to do with rock music. That's probably why. That's the only connection I see. They don't have any other connection.
Isn't that how they did the original effects for the lightsabers in Star Wars?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was just a simple process. I think they had back in the originals anyway, before they had just computers to do it now. Mm-hmm. They just took, I think it was lit behind animation cells and just rotoscoped them over top of it is all it was. Same thing with the laser bolts.
It was filmed in a dark room with like a guy with like a light that just supposed in the lightsaber, and they had to match it up.
Yeah, and same thing with the laser bolts. Because before that, if you ever saw laser bolts before Star Wars, a lot of times they would literally scratch the film. They would just put like white scratches in the film to make it look like a laser bolt.
Yep. And the fun fact: some of the sound effects for the laser bolts was really just a piece of plywood struck against an electrical junction box.
Yep. Yeah, or the tension wire.
Yep.
Like he would take Ben Burt would take not a screwdriver but a wrench and just tap it against the tension wire, and it would make that noise.
There's
a great.
I don't know if it's actually. I don't know if it's actually going to be released, but last year, me and my buddies, we were doing like some sound recording stuff just for kicks, and we were playing with cellophane, and we ended up coming up with a really cool like faster than light sound with the cellophane. And so we've already like packaged it, and we're just got like kind of like off to the side right now. We're thinking about like selling it to a sound house because it's really cool. It sounds like very different. And if any other science fiction outlet out there in development ever wanted a really cool like faster than light spaceship sound, we've got one. And all
that, or save it for something you work on eventually.
I'm a writer. They'll never like take any of my special effect ideas.
You just sneak it to somebody on the side.
Yeah, we would go to the post-production house, like just use this sound sample.
Got something for you. Some good shit. We got a super
cellophane,
chat.
Man. Cellophane.
Cellophane is a key. We got a super chat, Rob. I think we missed here.
Let's see what we got here.
Canadian. I sent you the Canadian sound.
I closed it. Dang it.
In the private chat.
There we go. Hold on. There we go. Bringing it up. Oh, good day. Good day. Good day.
Just cut that part out. Yeah.
Oh, good day.
Goo, 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 goo. Wait. We got to do our movie theme, man. Goo, dun, 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 dun. I love that movie.
It's an Indian Strange Rewatch Party. Didn't they have that free?
It was for a while. I don't know if it is now, but Christopher Persia sent us a Canadian $10. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I have to go buy some Molson now. For the great people that make Midnight's Edge after dark. Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Pardon me.
We are kind of like a bar where just people meet up. Isn't it weird?
Oh, yeah.
It's fun. That's for sure.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, no,
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Don't let me forget.
Chinese food, 15
No, for my auction. Because you know how many auctions I've lost when I've been on the show? I'm like, shit, I forgot. And I end up losing them by like $1.
Is this one of those auctions that it recycles? Like if you every new bid, it goes up to like another 24 hours for someone else to bid, or
no? It's just regular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I hate those other auctions.
No, yeah, it's only got 15 minutes left. I'm crossing my fingers. It's the only one I've ever saw, so I'm like, stoked. Trace XL.
Yeah.
We just hung out with him last night.
Yeah, $5 super chat. I think Kroll had some rotoscoping in the effects of the film.
Probably.
Like the light and the light beams. You know what, Chad? A lot of rotoscoping was Dune. The eyes, they would rotoscope. The blue eyes.
I watched the newer version, though, and it's so much better than the original version was. I know you didn't care for it, Rob, but...
Are you referring to the Sci-Fi Channel one? The miniseries?
No, I haven't seen the miniseries yet, but I'm talking about the original David Lynch Dune. They did a director's cut, or well, it's not really a director's cut, but an extended cut. And, you know, now it's cheap and easy. You and I could do the blue eye thing on our computer. So I don't know if it's legit or not, but I saw it, and somebody redid all the special effects and stuff, and it looks great.
You know, somebody the police department near where I live saying that they couldn't release certain body cam footage of a particular crime as evidence because it's a very intricate process blurring out the faces. I mean, it would take a very long time. I'm like, bullshit. No, it would take a half hour. I'm like, what are you kidding me? I'm like, do you want me to go grab my nephew and have him do it for you? I mean, you're like I'm like bullshit. I'm like,
well, you know, and then what really bothers me is we saw that Bill and Ted commercial the other night, the Walmart one. Mm-hmm. Look at how good young Bill looked and how bad Data looks, and tell me why that looks that way.
Because they're talented working on Bill and Ted, and the people working on Star Trek Discovery are probably, or Star Trek Picard rather, are probably getting like 5 minutes to do 2 weeks of work.
That totally looked like young Bill. And you know, it's probably just another actor with the deep fake face. That's probably all it is. I'll bring it up for those who haven't seen. I will just show that part.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. The only one I saw Super Bowl-ish was the Groundhog Day Bill Murray one. They were playing that.
I love that one. I'd show that, but I know he'd get nailed.
It was brilliant.
I don't remember where we parked.
I was following you.
We should have done a Groundhog Day movie watch party.
I know. I love.
We probably still can later on if you want.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Just makes me miss Harold Ramis more because he directed that.
I know. Well, that's the movie that came between them. Yeah.
Harold Ramis is one of those guys that very underappreciated in his time. I mean,
well, publicly, yeah, like within Hollywood, he was praised all the time. Like, you still hear stories about him today where he's just making up jokes, like when he was working as a director, or if he was just wandering by a set and he saw something and he said something funny, and they just cracked up the whole crew. And like, yeah. He's a legend.
All right.
Sorry for bringing everybody down on that.
No, you're fine.
Away when I was in the UK.
Here's the ad. I'm not going to show the whole ad again though, because we did show it the other night. But I'm just going to show the bill or the bill part. But yeah, check this out. This looks so much better than anything we've seen in some movies.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the future?
Well, even that new footage looks good.
Bill, here's your order of bills. Excellent. Excellent.
Did they just take?
Damn, that is really good.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to this. Well, you have it. You have it in our meeting chat with the Bill and Ted, the little tweet from 4 hours ago, right?
Yeah, I thought we were going to get a trailer, but then Ed Sullivan come out and said, no, they're just advertising for that. What I just showed you. Because they're still working on special effects, but he said, do expect a trailer soon. So hopefully.
Oh, yeah, I think it's supposed to come out in August, right?
The movie, yes.
Well, here's the thing. The special effects, like the visual effects on the phone booth are exactly like they were in the movies. And I'm so happy for the continuity.
Yeah, and it's so easy.
Give us continuity, give us something that looks like what we're familiar with, since we're the target audience, because you're playing on our nostalgia. Thank you so much. I'm happy with this one.
And I know they'll be smart about it. You know, there'll be a joke as to why there's no phone booths in the future, and it'll have everything to do with whoever it is that's trying to stop Bill and Ted. You watch, because it's the original writers, Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves. They did this for nothing, right? I guarantee you they
did this for the fun. I mean, I think Alex Winter got some good change out of it, because he's a character actor who doesn't work as much as he
He's
should.
just
but yeah.
mainly directs documentaries now, is what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he does. I've seen him in some other little things over the years, but yeah, he's a behind the scenes
was
guy
that
now.
metal show. And that was probably around the last time. That was probably in 2011, the last time when they were like actually announcing working on the script. And I'm probably 100% convinced right now that the script for this movie is the one from 2011
for Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It can't be like some modern, and people are like, oh, they gender swapped the daughters. Like, no, they didn't specify. It was an open, thing. Like,
well, they've been trying to get this made for like the last 5 years. Yeah,
at
least, if not more.
Yeah, probably since 2011 they've been trying, and I'm pretty sure, based on all of the information that you and I have been able to dig up, this is the exact same story. It's the exact same plot. They are not famous. Something happened, and they have to go throughout time to fix it. And they find all these music legends like Hendrix and everybody. And that's pretty much the exact same story that we had from 2011 that
right.
I really hope Eddie Van Halen's in it.
I said they need to get a cameo by him. Yes.
Oh, yeah,
he said he would actually be in one of these movies like years and years ago.
But we need Eddie Van Halen. But we can't get Eddie Van Halen unless we have a triumphant video.
Of course.
But we can't have a triumphant video if we don't get Eddie Van Halen.
Most perplexed.
Really?
Oh, Bill and Ted rock. Do you like Bill and Ted 19K Fox?
Okay, I'll let you talk.
I love those movies. I'm just curious to see, who is Missy banging now? Who's dad?
She's in it. She's in it.
She's in it, yeah.
Maybe she'll marry you. Yeah, then you'll be your own stepdad.
Oh, they might go there too. That's a good joke.
Well, here's the thing that I don't know the whole script, but I know bits and pieces, and that's what Mecca was talking about. And just from stuff we've been gathering up, we're thinking, what if they go into alternate dimensions this time? Because the first movie was through time, the second movie was heaven and hell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Obviously, something went wrong.
With Keanu, where he's wearing like that, the man bun basically for part of it.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. What if we go into one alternate dimension and he is married to Missy?
Yeah, or another alternate dimension, and they have daughters, and then another one they have sons. Just to make
you never know. But yeah, that's the thing that was a big bunch of confusion, and Mecca and I kind of looked into it, and the original writer said that they were always meant to be daughters. They were little girls when they were cast in the Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. What caused a bunch of confusion was they did a comic book series afterwards, which I did read, and they were boys in the comic book series. So, but they did change a lot of stuff in that comic book series. They even changed the ending of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey to match up with what they wanted to do with the comics. So, again, I guess you wouldn't consider that canon anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I doubt they also consider the cartoon show canon either.
I
Right?
doubt it. If not, maybe just the first season, just because Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves and George Carlin actually did the voices in the first season, maybe, and that's about it.
But the kids that they got for this movie, they're supposed to be characters like pushing 30, right? Because they're going to acknowledge that they were born in like 1990.
I hope so. And
I think they're in their mid-20s, but they look like they're DJs, like they're into electronic music.
Yeah, that's going to be the point. Is they're bigger slackers than their dads were.
Yeah. I hope so. God, I hope so, because that's gonna also, prove me right that it's not an SJW sort of movie, because you cannot have women as slackers in SJW movies. They're always perfect. So hopefully they won't.
That's very true.
Perfect, and
and the girls that got cast look perfect. God,
this is what somebody was saying in response to. I don't know if you saw the news of this one, but there's a rumored Red Dwarf gender swap American version.
Yeah, we were going to talk a little bit about that. Captain Robert April sent me some things about it, and I think you sent me a few things about it.
Yeah, I made a video on that last night. It's like, okay, if they do this,
what number of an attempt for a Red Dwarf American version would this be then?
3? I want to say
3 or 4? Yeah,
4.
But now, doesn't this come from a 4chan leak? So this is real.
We don't know if it's true or not.
Right.
But somebody was saying to me, it's like, okay, that will never work for the premise of the series, because the point of the show is that they were space bums, right? They were kind of like the losers. Even though Rimmer, he was like this hard-edged, by the book, by the rules guy. He was a tool. He was a douche. Lister was a space bum. He was lazy. crazy. That was his big flaw. And they were all lovable and amazing and wonderful. And I love everything about the show. But if you gender swap it in today's Mary Sue, like Mary Ray Palpatine, Mikey Spock, sort of, Doge, and the other one who's humping Romulans in Picard now, these women are always absolutely perfect, and you're not going to have 4 captains running around a ship. It's just going to be terrible.
I barely remember Red Dwarf. I watched it a few times as a kid. I always never really watched it anywhere but at my grandma's because she didn't have cable, so she only had whatever was on antenna.
Probably PBS or something.
And it was always on PBS on late nights, yeah.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's one of my
We liked it. I mean, it wasn't like, it was fun. It was a good show. It was, I just never really saw many more than probably a handful of episodes.
Yeah, and it's the British show, so there was only 6 to 12 episodes a season anyway, depending on which season. So it's so insulting that they want to come over here and think that they know better. They want to go and take something of mine. This is another thing. It's like they're paying attention to what I like personally. And it was rumored after to because of that Hitchhiker's Guide series that's coming to Hulu that people are excited about. They were going around digging up anything they can that's British.
Is there really excitement for that though? Outside of me?
I'm the only
I was gonna say outside of us big fans. I don't know.
I'm the only person I think who made a video on it. Probably Gary made a video, but
I was gonna say, because I didn't even get a chance to. I brought it up to Andre, and him and I are interested, but I think we kind of concluded that there just really wasn't a mass amount of interest.
No, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I don't think there's that much interest. I don't think my video even got more than 5,000 views. Because it was a positive video because I was excited for it. So that just leads me to believe that they're either doing this on purpose, knowing I'm a huge Red Dwarf fan and really excited for Hitchhiker's Guide, and probably Gary. I'm going to assume I know he's a Hitchhiker's Guide fan. So and I know that he's probably talked about Red Dwarf, and this is probably just to piss us off. Like somebody put this out there just so we would make a video. Wow. If they're really intentionally doing this and really are going to go through with this, then I am going to do everything I can to make sure it is either canceled if it's going to be garbage, or they get the feedback that they need to make it right. Because like we said, you cannot have 4 captains, 4 perfect little Mary Sue women running around a ship in this day and age, and they're not going to be allowed to make a bunch of women into losers in this day and age.
What are we talking about?
Red Dwarf.
Okay.
They're making a gender swap American version of Red Dwarf with Star Trek Discovery writers, as the rumor goes from 4chan.
Well,
haven't they learned about this whole gender swapping thing yet? I mean, it's not okay. First of all, this has to be prefaced and constantly, because otherwise we get accused of it. It's not that we give a shit about female characters being the leads. If that was the case, Alien would never have been a hit. Terminator would have never been a hit. Nobody would have went to see Charlie's Angels when it was the other one, not the new one. And same thing with Buffy and a few other things. It's like, that's bullshit. It's nothing to do with the character being. It's when you take something like that and you flip it. It used to be kind of like a gimmick. Like, Rob, I don't know if you remember, they used to do, once in a while, they would do an all-female version of The Odd Couple. Do you remember that? Once in a while is kind of like, okay, it's like a cute tongue-in-cheek gimmick.
Well, but really, Two Broke Girls is really just The Odd Couple, really.
Pretty much. Yeah, I think we've had that conversation before, too.
And it's not even just the gender swap. It's the fact that they just phone in the effort of the character development when they gender swap. It's incredibly infuriating for me as a writer. When you take a concept and you're like, it starts off as a man, but okay, well, let's make it a woman. And great. So are we going to rewrite the character to be more believable as a woman? No, we're just going to kind of whittle it down so we can get more to the action beats, make them do whatever. And it just frustrates the hell out of me because do women really want to see that as a reflection of them, like a very hollowed out interpretation? Because personally, I don't. I think a show, for instance, like Supergirl, is incredibly patronizing to girls, and that's like an example of a gender swapped character that in the comic books actually has some depth, but in the show is just superficial.
Yeah, and that's just it. Aside from that, it's mainly just a gimmick. Oh, hey, Mary, how you doing?
Hey, Mary.
We have some breaking news. I don't know how accurate this is because this is from that one site that's never ever accurate.
Is it which one?
We got this covered.
We got this
Geeks
covered.
I was just gonna say, yeah, one of those.
It's from, oh, it's never mind. It's from yesterday. Never mind. It just showed up on my phone today.
What is it?
That they're going to swap out Brie Larson from Captain Marvel.
Oh, goody! I hope
Yeah.
that's real.
Mhm.
I do. Well, we kind of were. Do you remember when we would like saying it would be really funny because she kept talking about there should be more women of color and stuff like that in roles. So then they started the campaign to have her replaced with a woman.
Well, yeah, I mean, it looks like that's according to this is that they're planning to have Monica Rambeau step up as the MCU's new Captain Marvel.
Right, and that's what we were insinuating anyway. It was like, let's do it. Get her out of there. Fuck this.
Yeah, you guys care so much about diversity. Why don't you just do it?
Woohoo! I'm 25 seconds away from winning this.
Mhm.
Go.
Yahoo just put up a thing while Star Wars crashes and burns. Picard breathe new life in Star Trek. Like, let's not go nuts.
No, it didn't.
Yeah,
no,
right.
It really didn't. Yeah, some
No,
people were
it
gonna
did
love it
not.
just because it's Star Trek.
Like I said, the
5,
cracker.
4, 3, 2.
Yahtzee.
Yes, I got it.
Congrats.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
You win.
Maybe you don't
Yes.
want
You
Maybe you
saw
don't
it
wanna
here
see
live.
Worth every fucking penny too.
How much? How much did you
46
pay?
bucks plus shipping. But hey, you know what? I've never seen this before, ever. It's the first one I've ever seen. I've seen storybooks, but I've never seen the actual soundtrack.
Well, that calls for.
I'm willing to bet I got that for like a hell of a steal.
But the whole thing, you know, the whole thing about Star Trek, the Picard thing, everybody's gaga now because again, the Eddie Murphy cracker analogy.
You starving and somebody gives you a cracker. That's the best damn cracker you ever had.
Ah, damn, that's the best cracker I ever had. That was Ritz, wasn't it?
That wasn't a regular cracker. That was a Ritz. Damn, no, give me some more. Then after a while, you're just like, I just got some regular crackers.
This is regular crackers. I mean, when supposedly around what episode 4, all the wheels are supposed to come off the ship. Oh, okay.
Well, supposedly,
Is
and
that
I
when there's
love
going to
that.
be a story? So sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
I was gonna say I love that, and then we got a tweet from somebody who's obviously being facetious, but it was funny. They're like, "You guys are full of shit. You said it was going off the rails the 4th season. This shit sucks already." Basically, in so many words.
Oh,
Yeah, nothing happened in the second episode, like at all.
Oh, we've got our first look at Disney's Mulan on Super Bowl here.
Well, I
Check out
seen
the-
a trailer for Mulan already.
Yeah, check out the trailer online. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I seen it before whatever it was the last movie was Star Wars or whatever. I mean, it doesn't look horrible. At least it's not like the whole Lion King thing to where it's exact shot for shot shit and Beauty and the Beast. But
Mecca, you're not. You're not shitting me. James Bond: No Time to Die will have a 180-minute runtime.
Holy hell!
What?
That's 3 hours. Holy fuck! I love James Bond, but I don't want to watch a 3-hour James Bond movie. It's gonna wear out its welcome.
What's with all these long ass movies lately? I mean, I understand on like Netflix and stuff, but I mean, is it because they're just one movie will dominate the multiplexes now, or what?
Pretty much.
It really doesn't make sense because you don't really want a long movie because that limits how many times you can show it.
It used to be that way, but I don't know if you've been on the shows when I've said this at all, Script Doctor, but I noticed from like the last few movies between like Endgame to Joker to Star Wars, depending on how well the movie's selling, they will close out other theaters and open up more. Like the night I went to see Joker, there was no other movies playing, period. It was just Joker and like all 18 screens.
Yeah, I heard a little bit about that. That's weird. Like I've never seen that before. I think I saw it once. I want to say, yeah, when Infinity War came out, there was one of the theater in town that closed that was only showing Infinity War.
When I went to Endgame, the only movies showing was Endgame, Captain Marvel, and like one other movie, and those two were only in like one other theaters, and otherwise all the theaters were dominated by Endgame.
No, it's so weird because even like even to this day, whether it's a professional script or an amateur script or anything, the first thing everybody looks at, doesn't matter what position you are in Hollywood, is the page count. And if it's over 120 pages, it's basically a huge eye roll and nobody wants to read it. And standard time is a minute a page on average. And only really the tentpole movies are kind of pushing the 3 hour mark. And I think it's just because they want to have that epic reputation of having like this epic movie. It's 3 hours. It's the biggest event ever. You have to see it to appease the fans. But like nobody needs a 3 hour movie. You don't even really need a 2 hour movie. Like an hour 40 minutes for a science fiction film or like an actioneer or adventure film is kind of like the sweet spot. But yeah, like it just boggles my mind. Even some of my other friends and contacts in LA are like, yeah, we don't know why Disney, because Disney's primarily the one that's doing the lengths and booking out all the theaters. We don't know why they're doing this. It's just, but they always just say like, yeah, you made a 3 hour movie or you made a 2.5 hour movie. You just cut like 20% of your profits away or off the bat. So it's just weird.
Well, yeah, it used to be a stigma, and I mean, it was so often that movies would get, especially in I remember when, in the golden age of DVD, you could almost expect 9 times out of 10 you'd get an extended or unrated cut of any movie. And now it's like, it's just weird how we've gotten to this point where, when a movie like The Lord of the Rings would be shown, it was a big deal because it was 3 hours long. And now the new Star Wars movie is almost 3 hours long. So what happened? What changed? That's the only thing I can think is that in this digital age, we've been able to switch things around so much that they don't care as much about the runtime because they know as long as they're selling tickets, they can open more theaters. Because I talked to a smaller little independent theater one time about some of this stuff, and that's the one thing she complained about is when she had to move certain movies to different theaters because they only had like 4 screens, and they didn't have as sophisticated as stuff as some of the bigger theaters, so it'd take like a couple hours for a movie to move from one hard drive to another. So she would complain when they would specify that certain movies, when they would come out, they would have to have a certain amount of seats or a certain screen or 3D screen, and she would be limited in her choices compared to some of the bigger ones on what she could do with the movie. So I really kind of got an idea of how the whole system worked, because she's like, oh yeah, they can change shit at the last minute, and then I got to worry about downloading a movie in 4 hours when it's supposed to premiere in 4.5, kind of thing. And it's like really nuts and insane how it works now, but it's all done with hard drives, and it's so easy to just close one theater and open up another. And I've had nothing but trouble because of that, because they'll bop so many movies in and out. Halftime, I don't think they pay attention, because I went to go see Jurassic World and Deadpool 2 started playing.
I'm when I go to movie theaters, I'm going there as a patron. I don't even bother looking about the behind the scenes stuff for it.
I'll ask them at some of the bigger ones. Some of the bigger ones they won't answer, but this little one, it was just so cool that she was just so open, because it was like a video store upstairs, and then downstairs in the basement was like this 4-screen little multiplex thing.
Oh, that's like almost like a repertory theater, but like it's a little bit bigger, right?
Yeah, but then she was griping about all, how, if when she decides to take one of the Disney movies, she's stuck with taking them for so long, and she only has so many screens compared to like the theater 20 minutes down the road, which has 18-20 screens or what, what I mean? It's
yeah, that's the issue. I do know that from like the megaplexes versus the rep theaters, like especially in Toronto, we had like 3 really popular rep theaters, and they would try to showcase whatever movie they could up against the big weekends of like the bigger studios and stuff. And one of the theaters, I think one way out over by where they shoot Degrassi by Scarborough, was spent like a year just trying to get their hands on like a Disney print for a film. I can't remember what the title was, but I think it was like maybe just a regular live action kids film. And it was going up against God, I wish I could remember what the heck it was. This is like 4 years ago, but I just remember that nobody showed up to their theater because they went to the actual, everybody wanted to see the new Disney film. It might have been like Captain America Winter Soldier, maybe. I don't know, like everything was weird at the time because all the rep theaters are like, yeah, I spent all this time trying to get this kids film from Disney, and then down the road they show like the big tentpole film for the weekend, and then on top of that they tell me, oh, we want the print back, and you can have the Winter Soldier to play in your rep theater. And he's like, well, that's not my business. That's not what I do. I do old classic films, and I work really hard for this. But they're like, yeah, we'll give it to you for only one night, and then you got to, if you want, you can play this. And it's weird.
Well, yeah, and people were complaining now that after Disney took over, they've had a harder time getting a hold of Fox films.
Yeah,
Fox used to be a lot easier to do because like they would do Alien showings and stuff like that all the time. And I guess now that's becoming much more difficult, and Disney's a lot harder to get a hold of as far as getting any like rights to show these films. So it's kind of, things are going to change. And so I don't. Were you on when we talked about them dropping the Fox name from everything on the logos?
I don't think so, but I remember hearing that and be like, why?
Well, I mean, I understand part of it, and if they don't change anything other than just taking the Fox part out of the logo, I guess I kind of understand. But Anti-Trekker and I were getting into this. He was doing a stream and I was on the other end in the chat, and I'm like, yeah, but in this whole situation, why wouldn't they have gotten to keep the Fox name? They own more of Fox. Fox is more associated and has been more associated with film a hell of a lot longer than the Murdochs have had the television channels. You know what I mean? If anything, the Fox Network and Fox Sports and Fox News should have to change their names. Really, if you ask me, the Fox name should. The one thing I was most disappointed is when besides the fact that The Rise of Skywalker sucked, was when the movie opened and it didn't open with the Fox logo. I was hoping that was what was going to happen because I'm like, it'd be kind of a nice little touch now that they own Fox to throw them back on there.
Yeah, because it was such a staple of the Star Wars films. They were distributed by Fox. They had that fanfare at the start of it. It's what kind of
one of the very few soundtracks that actually had the opening logo in the soundtrack too, along with it. You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly. I mean, I totally understand your perspective for like, shouldn't the smaller guy that changed their name and the bigger guy hold on to what they actually purchased, what they spent the billions of dollars on for the catalog and the access. I think just Disney is dropping the Fox stuff just to sort of, a little bit of a power move, and then on top of that, a little bit more so that they can push away their any I guess adversary of being associated with the Murdoch stuff. I mean, I think they just want to make it more their own brand, and also I think they probably also want to avoid the Fox and Mouse comparisons for the company.
All I know is I'm not changing my channel's name to 19K.
And you should not.
Well, and actually, I kind of like that dichotomy. They could have had a little fun with that. The mouse represents the family stuff. The fox is for the foxy adult stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's so weird to have that and not utilize it. I mean, yeah, sure, you bought franchises. I get it. But, I mean, I've got that for the opening of all my videos. I love that. I mean, just that fanfare, that opening. How many other studios have that where it's just it? And especially with Star Wars. The two were so synonymous.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you use that? I guess you hate Star Wars. I don't know.
I said that on Anti-Trekker's stream in the chat. I'm like, name me one studio where you can actually hum the logo to somebody or hum the music to somebody and they instantly know what it's from. No other movie studio has that.
Yeah. Not really. Like Universal's close, but like they do so many.
That's just because of the last 20 years they've used the same shit. But before that, they didn't. Warner Brothers has changed from the shield to the worm, and they've never kept their logo music. You can very rarely have you ever heard that in the last 30, 40 years.
No, yeah, they changed it like every 6 or 7 years.
Disney has always used "Wish Upon a When You Wish Upon a Star," but they've changed their logo quite a few times in the last couple of years here. Well, more like 20 years.
And also a little bit of like that their tag opening as well. They changed that. Fox has been the same. I think the only thing they've changed is that they computer animated it.
It's just more, they added movement to it. That's the only thing they've done in the last 50, 60, 70 years or whatever. Because it wasn't even really Fox to begin with. I know that. I get that. But we're talking way back in the 30s, 40s. And then they became Fox Studios or whatever. So it's like, come on, this name is synonymous. I get it. I get you don't want to be a part of, or be confused, with Fox News and Fox Network, but they're still making shit for Fox Network, which is another thing, because they still own Fox Television Studios. They don't own the network, but they own the studios that make all the shows that
broadcast
Fox
on the
owns.
network.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also like a massive brand recognition. It's the other side of the film market, essentially. Yeah, it boggles my mind. I mean, I understand why they do it, but just it feels like a stupid reason, a petty reason, as opposed to something that they could really monetize and make back the money that they've spent to buy the brand.
Yeah.
I think the division is important for the Marvel side too, because it would get really convoluted if we just join everything. They're not going to reboot the MCU. So how are you going to explain that the X-Men have been around, but we just didn't bother to use them in Endgame? You know, so
well, they're going to reboot them within, and we're going to see new X-Men, and it's going to be like a new thing. And I'm sure we're going to hear some stuff here coming up about Fantastic Four and them. So I wouldn't be surprised. But I get what you're saying, Fox. That does make.
Yeah.
My theory on that is the whole. That's why they're leading with Eternals. Because in the comics, mutants are like a byproduct of the Celestials making Eternals.
And I think they're going to differentiate themselves. And I think some people are getting some things crossed over. I don't know if Script Doctors heard anything, but there is some validity to the SJW-ism of them not being able to use the name X-Men around the office, I guess. They're only supposed to refer to them as mutants. I don't know if you've heard this too.
Yeah, I have. I've heard that before. Last year, we were laughing about that. It's like, okay, so they just don't want a brand recognition again, like again with the brand recognition with Fox. There's like, yeah, no, they just want to do it with mutants. And the only rumors I've heard about for Disney is that there is an option where they're going to justify the existence of mutants by claiming that X-Men comics took place in the not too distant future, anyways, and that's they're just going to line it up with this. But I think that's a bad idea because I think Magneto, being a Holocaust survivor, is kind of really important to his character and motive for what he's doing, and I don't know how they're going to reconcile that and into the MCU. So I'm curious. I'm keeping my ear as close to it as I can, but I'm curious.
Well, the one thing I think everybody keeps forgetting is in the comics, Magneto was de-aged like at least once, if not twice. So
in the 70s, right?
The one time was actually in the 90s when it was the Savage Land saga where him and Rogue were stuck on the Savage Land. She finds him and he's going by the name Joseph because he had amnesia and he was like 20-something years old. I mean, somehow he winds up becoming an older man again, but you could just do something like that. Like he was de-aged at one point.
That's
why he's still alive. Like
there's
now.
rumors going around that they're going to make like almost exactly what they were originally based upon, and that was Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. So there's a recent rumor going around that that's the route they're going. They're going to move up the time frame to where they were civil rights activists. I'm not 100% against that because that's where their inspiration comes from. But again, I'm not sure if that's the right direction to go per se. I mean,
I think X-Men First Class had it perfect. Just make it a period film and go
kind of. Well, that's where I'm more at with like Fantastic Four. I wouldn't have a problem with them making that a period film, and then you just have them locked away in the whatever verse it was that Ant-Man was stuck in.
Oh, the negative verse or something.
Yeah,
right?
or whatever for however many years. Then you can bring them back, and now you know what I mean.
Or they're fighting Dr. Doom to prevent him from like doing a time travel thing, and they get thrown into the future, and Doom gets strapped in the like you can,
something like
there's a lot
that.
Of fun, cool ways you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and as far as the mutants, I have a feeling I was right about them sprinkling them in, and then eventually doing something as an X-Men kind of thing because I've heard rumors already, and I suggested, you could start by having, just like Jubilee and certain other characters and Logan show up here and there in other stories. They don't have to be an X-Men story, and then eventually you lead up to one. Or Storm, I heard is rumors that she's going to be in Black Panther 2. You know what I mean? A young Storm, So I mean, there's possibilities out there, and there's even, you could even just kind of go past some of the other stuff. I mean, I'm surprised if they do a lot of the same characters we had in the old X-Men. I would be very surprised. But again, you can't not because they're the most well-known. So,
well, if they were smart, they would use the WandaVision show as a jumping off point and just do a reverse House of M.
They could do that. They also have another option, and that's from an accident that came from the Ant-Man movies. Like Hank Pym was like this secret agent in S.H.I.E.L.D. as the Ant-Man, and there's a whole slew of other stories that could have been incorporated and buried publicly for it. And also there's Charles Xavier, who could just be like using his mental powers to hide the fact that mutants exist in this world to keep them safe, and then he dies or just can't do it anymore, and all of a sudden people are starting to remember that, yeah, I remember interacting with mutants and all this stuff, and then you have this kind of big cataclysmic backlash to what happened, and causing a huge divide of discrimination towards mutants, because most of humanity has been manipulated by this one guy for decades to keep them secret as like a conspiracy theory exposed. That could be an interesting, crazy thing. I'm just rambling off the top of my head here.
Right. Nikki J gave us a super chat here a while back. $5. If Birds of Prey underperforms, will that discourage film executives from implementing heavy-handed social commentary in movies moving forward? I doubt it per se. A lot of this stuff we're seeing now, I think Andre brought up a good point, is a lot of leftovers. I'm sure things like Terminator and Charlie's Angels have finally got them to pay attention to what they're doing, but then again, we're seeing the same exact playbook with Birds of Prey. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think
I don't think.
Go ahead, Rob.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say,
Yeah,
it's a lot of people who think that they say that socialism doesn't work because it wasn't done right. So I think there's some writers out there that say, "Oh, we just haven't figured out the angle, but we're going to get it, so we're going to keep trying." I don't have a lot of hope, but it's odd. You know, the hints are out there. I mean, look at Bad Boys 3. Who thought that movie was going to do anything?
I didn't think it was going to do this big. I mean, I thought it would do okay, but I didn't think it was going to do this big.
I was surprised how it turned out. It was really similar to the other two movies, but I thought, okay, well, this is obviously going to bomb because it's masculine and all that. And
that's why it didn't, though, I think.
I agree. And I think that even though it's there, the proof is there, the dollars, I don't think they're going to learn their lesson. I just don't think so.
If Rambo probably would have done better, I think you're right. I think that we need at least 3 or 4. If Ghostbusters and Bill and Ted does gangbusters, and they're really well done, and they're not super like SJW woke agenda bullshit.
And Top Gun 2, yeah.
And Top Gun 2, that's another one. Yeah. We're in. It could be. You know, we don't know.
Basically, yeah. It'll turn the tide pretty quick. It'll essentially put the other type of films that are going with this uncreative agenda push, force them to throw up the white flag. There'll be a fight to the death for them, but it'll be basically saying, yeah, we're not going to be doing this the way we do it anymore.
Right, and that's the thing. Money talks and bullshit walks. Okay, they can only do this for so long before the money people go, you guys are doing nothing but losing us money, and fire them. And that's what's going to happen. You can't keep going forever and not making money in a business, especially movie business, because you're always operating at a loss anyway. That's the thing with most studios, is there's generally more going on than they ever bring in. That's why these big hits matter. I mean, I'm sure Script Doctor knows what I mean. It's like, for every one of these bad boys they get at Sony, there's how many fucking movies that don't do shit. So movies like Bad Boys have to be able to make that kind of money to justify them spending all the money in other places, when they know the odds of them making any money on any movie are slim to none.
Well, exactly. Like, they have to mitigate their losses. That's why you hear more no's in Hollywood than yeses, because it's like nobody wants to get fired. They want to make sure that whatever they choose, they're so confident in that they're putting their job on the line for it, and that it's going to perform. And then on top of that, if it performs big, it pays for any of the mistakes or bad decisions that were made for anything else, even if they were great art films or smaller films that just didn't have the range to reach as many people. They at least can say, well, we gave it a shot there. We got to see what that person did with that film. It's a good product, but it didn't hit the reach. But you know, we'll probably use them for something bigger because they proved their mettle to us. And luckily, we had this other film that was able to cover the costs of that, so it wasn't didn't put us in the red this quarter or something of that nature. But they're always in the red. Like every studio is hemorrhaging money.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, like that's basically what they're trying to do. With the Joker being such a really conservatively cost movie and with such a huge return, Warner Brothers is really happy. I only got an email on Thursday saying about how Warner Brothers is trying to see if they can repeat that model with other films that are not comic book related, that they can do something a slightly bigger property for that budget.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
No, you and me after the show. So you're like, we'll get some ideas together. But no, you're right. And I think that's the whole key, the whole thing. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but it is. They're going to see where the money's coming in. They always seem to learn the wrong lessons, but sooner or later, they're going to find a way to make money like the Joker, like Bad Boys 3, or they can't keep going like this. And as long as these kind of movies keep making money, we're going to get better movies. If we want to see movies like Jokers, all we got to do is go see them. If we want to see more movies like Bad Boys, all we got to do is go see them. If we want to see more movies that are more original, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and
dollar voting is all it is.
Yeah, basically, you go see the movies that you want to see more of. That's really
also hunt out movies that are not hugely advertised, because there are a lot of movies released every year that nobody hears about that are really, really good. And if you can find that one like cinephile friend that just knows every film, talk to them, get their opinion, read a little bit about the movie description online or what have you, and take a shot at it. It might be good, it might not. Worst case scenario, you lose 90 minutes of your life, but you'll know within the first half hour if you like it or not, usually. And then you just move on, and you might find something good, then spread it by word of mouth, because it will snowball effect, and then it will blow up, because that's what happened with Joker. I mean, it had a nice little hype beforehand, and it had a fairly decent start, but it was a little bumpy, but then it just kind of kept going and going and going. And now it's changing a little bit.
Still playing in theaters while it's on video, folks.
Exactly, yes.
And I know that some of these movie theaters or these chains sort of have these gimmicky like clubs you can belong to, but I'm in with the Cinemark thing, and what that does, it gives you, one of the benefits is a free movie every month. So it allows you to sort of take that chance on a movie, because otherwise you're spending, $20, $30 to go watch something. It's tough to get people to take a chance, but there's a lot of good movies out there that really do fly under the radar that are just good films. There's no agenda, and those are the ones that need to get support that sadly that they're just not going to get it.
Ford versus Ferrari was another one this last year that a lot of people liked.
Oh yeah, that was very good.
Fatal J says it's $5. I underperform all the time. Just got to roll with those punches. Well, Fatal J, that's a different kind of thing, but we love you. We love you, buddy. We got to have you on again. It's been a while. Rosetta Allen. Oh yeah. Speaking of love you too. Have a blessed day, guys. Thank you so much, Rosetta. Yes, Bad Boys 3 isn't out on video, but it's out in theaters. Joker, I was talking about. If maybe I got garbled there.
I still gotta see Bad Boys 3. I gotta make.
I know. I wanted to go see it today, and then well, I'm doing this instead. That's all right.
We'll make up our own Bad Boys 3.
But yeah, another one. I know a lot of people have fallen out of love with Kevin Smith, but if you're a fan of his films, CJ and Silent Bob Strike Back. It's on streaming now. It's on video. I've talked to a lot of people who saw it, and I've only heard a few people say that they didn't really care for it. A lot of people say flat out that it's a love letter to all his movies before that, which it is. It even pokes fun at some of the woke agenda shit.
You mean the reboot? Strike Back was like
Did I say Strike Back? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I meant reboot.
No.
Yes, reboot. Yes, reboot. Thank you.
That was done through that
crowdfunding thing,
where everybody's like an investor or something like that. Yeah, that seems interesting.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit about it. I've thought about looking into it. I don't know. I mean, they've done a few things, but I went and saw that in the theaters in the limited run, and I loved it. And I bought the Blu-ray and stuff, so I know it's out there now. Dr. Sleep, yes, Dr. Sleep was really good, actually. That was another one that I thought was really overlooked. I think they released it a week too late. They should have released it the week of Halloween. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know. Did any of you guys see it besides Mecca? I know Mecca saw it.
I hadn't seen it yet, no.
Yeah,
I didn't even know about it.
Do you know what it is, Anthony? Or
That's the thing. No. Nobody knew about it.
Yeah, they did a piss poor job of letting people know what it was and when it was, what it was all about. It's the sequel to The Shining.
Seriously?
Yeah.
How did I not know about that?
And it's really good. It's really, really good. It's got Ewan McGregor in it as Danny. And they even have a cameo from the original Danny. That's just kind of fucked up. But anyway. But they do a really good job of making it a sequel to The Shining. It's got a really interesting story. It expands on the idea of the powers And it's got a girl in it that's a main character, and it's not a big old woke movie.
What's it called again?
Dr. Sleep.
I'm gonna have to check this out.
It's actually out on. I don't think it's on Blu-ray yet, but it's on streaming, and they have a director's cut. I haven't watched the extended cut yet, but the original version was really good. So yeah, Mecca, you said you liked it too, right?
Yeah, it was decent. I mean, it was very, except for like the Stephen King parts where they're out there, like basically the the climax where they're kind of getting rid of like.
I actually like the climax, but
Uh,
that's when it really gets into the Shining stuff. That's the thing is like
no,
the
like
last.
right before the climax, before they get to the Overlook. So.
Oh, there is a bit of a slow. If you mean the slow part there, yeah, there's a little bit of a slow part there.
Where they're picking them off one by one and they just kind of dissolve as very Stephen King goofy.
Oh, it's got a lot of Stephen King-isms, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of my biggest problem with Stephen King stuff is like Stephen King always kind of ruins them for me.
But again,
I liked this one pretty much. I mean, I liked it more than I thought I would. It was actually kind of
it's really well casted. The one chick who plays the main villain's really good. I can't think of her name right now, and I apologize, but
yeah,
she's
cool.
like Irish.
It was very 90s though, with the hat and like it was.
I liked it though. I don't know why. I just dug it.
Yeah. It was interesting, but the whole movie was so 90s to me. In so many ways, it's like the whole thing just felt like it really should have taken place in like 1994.
But yeah, the basic storyline, without giving too much away, Anthony, is that Danny finds out that there's other people out there with the Shining. Right? He's been kind of kind of like
luck, and he's a drinker, and
he hasn't been using the Shining and stuff like that. He's been kind of depressing it and all that kind of stuff. Well, then all of a sudden he starts getting these messages, and he finds out it's this little girl who also has the Shining. Well, and they also in the Interium also find out that there's this group of creatures that feed off of people that have the Shining. So it's kind of like this whole
like psychic vampires.
Yeah, they're like psychic vampires. Right? That's a very good comparison there. So without giving too much away, that's kind of the setup, and so it's kind of Danny kind of pulling himself out of this rut, and learning how to embrace the Shining and all that kind of stuff, and if he can save this girl in time and all that kind of stuff. It's a really good movie.
I'm gonna have to check it out, because I mean, as far as movies go, horror movies are usually my thing. I can't believe I didn't even know about it, but I haven't had my ear to the horror movie ground in a bit.
So many of the most recent ones have been just garbage.
Yeah, that's why. Like, I'm just not even interested.
It's the shit in, lad. Do you want to get sued? Yeah, they made it the little black girl. And they went. That's the best part about it, is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They don't make a big deal out of it.
You had it in the first movie, so
They don't make a big deal out of it. I don't even think there's ever a point in the movie where they go, "Oh, but you're black," or any reason about her being black.
Any kid.
No, that's a line from Lethal Weapon 2.
Right? You're black. But you're black. Yeah, I remember that. Those were some of the best parts of that movie with Joe Pesci. That's why everybody loves that movie. Otherwise, that movie's kind of, I don't know. I got to watch it again. It's been a few years. Are you guys looking forward to Lethal Weapon 5, though, if it actually happens, or are we too old for this
If it's not about stealing water, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it as much, because I really like that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia version.
Stealing water? I didn't see that. I know the show, but I didn't see that, so I don't get the reference.
No, there's got a love scene with Danny DeVito and a hooker for like 7 or 8 minutes in it. It's a really funny version of it. But yeah, I'm actually excited for Dick Donner to be coming out of his self-imposed retirement to do
He's like 90 though.
He is 90. Yeah.
It's going to be the original cast, right?
Yep. Hopefully they get like Chris Rock and stuff too.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh, I want to see Butters again. He was.
What were you gonna say, Fox?
Oh, no, I just say you have to get Chris Rock back. You
have to, yes.
Mel Gibson. I don't know if you saw him in. It's kind of silly. It's the Expendables movie, the third one. He was really good in it, though.
I get that people had the issue with the whole cancel culture. He was like one of the original cancel culture people. like that got canceled, and I don't condone anything he said or did. Totally don't. But people have done worse shit when they're drunk and have been forgiven for it. So, I mean, at this point, I mean, the guy's what, 60, 70 years old almost?
Right. Yeah.
It was bad enough.
He's also been a pretty good behavior for the last several years, too. So.
Right. And I was going to say, I mean, it was bad enough he didn't get to do Mad Max 4. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just killed the combo.
Yeah, no. Well, I am looking forward to Lethal Weapon. I'm really curious about what the story is gonna be. Man, just to
Well, it's
see.
got to probably be about. I'm imagining it's probably about Riggs. That was.
That was Gibson.
Yeah. He's probably going to be on the verge of retirement, and Murtaugh's probably been retired for like 20, 30 years.
And been happy.
Yeah, and Butters is probably Riggs's
partner,
and I'm imagining their kids are probably roughly getting to the age, because they had what, 2 or 3 of them born at the end of the last movie.
Yeah, so Murtaugh's granddaughter was born at the last, and then Riggs' son was born at the last film. That was like 94.
Yeah, so they'd be about the age to where they'd be getting into like possibly being into the police academy themselves and stuff like that. So, or getting through it all and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, who knows?
Am I confusing 2 movies, or did when his daughter was having a kid, wasn't he also having one?
I was gonna say, I thought there was 3 kids born all at the same time at the end of the 4th movie, because I thought, Murtaugh was having another baby too. I thought.
No, that was that's the father of the bride too.
Okay, yeah. You're right.
I am confusing 2 movies.
You are, yeah. Now you confused me for a second there too. You're right. You're right, and then it took me because those both
Steve
came
Martin
out
and Diane
around the
Keaton
same
having
damn
a
time,
kid.
yeah. And actually, Lethal Weapon 4 was 98. I remember
98.
now. Because
Okay, yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know, because they kind of wrapped up his tortured soul. In the 4th one, he kind of sort of was able to forgive himself and move on.
That's one thing I did love, because that was my problem with the second film.
Right.
Was that you already had him go through this arc in the first movie, and then you kind of have him still kind of going through it again in the second film, and then you kill his girlfriend again just to give him that motivation.
And then you link it all back to they were trying to kill him in the first, like before the first movie, and that's why his wife was dead. Like it was a bit contrived.
Yes, I didn't like that, and that's why I love the third film where they actually took his character and allowed him to grow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then that's the one we see in the 4th movie where he's a little bit more lighthearted. He's goofing around more. He's not as serious. He's not thinking about killing himself. All that kind of. You don't need to have that through every damn movie.
Because that's just not realistic. I mean, it's just, if you want that, go watch the first movie again. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. That's one of the reasons I dislike the second film. And that's one thing that most second movies, especially of that era, make the biggest mistake of. Look at like Die Hard 2, same kind of thing.
Same exact thing. Yes, it's a good point.
And that's why I love Die Hard 3, because we actually get to see him in the position where he should have been at the beginning of 2.
Yeah.
And he's like 2 or 3 steps away from being a full-blown alcoholic. One step.
He spends the whole movie asking for aspirin.
Yeah, he ain't got any aspirin. I love the third Die Hard film, sorry.
It is so good.
And the aspirin ties back to everything, even though
that's how they get him at the end.
Canada.
Well, who would we lose here?
Oh, Mecca dropped.
Oh. It's gone.
Maybe she had a nut problem.
Hopefully she'll be back. Any of the diehards after the third one were horrible.
Did you hit the wrong button?
Yeah, I closed the tab instead of it minimum.
Oh, I hate that. I do that all the time.
Yeah, because I was moving them around.
Oh, yeah. Die Hard 4 was kind of meh. And then Die Hard 5, I can't believe they made Die Hard 5. Script Doctor, do you remember Die Hard 5 was the same script that was going around for like fucking 10 years that they didn't make in the first place for Die Hard 4?
Yeah, I remember the whole Russian thing for a
his
long
son,
time.
yeah.
Right? Yeah, it was stupid.
And I never got a chance to read that script. It just always would slip out of my hands. But I did hear that, yeah, it was going to be about John McClane's son. I'm like, well, I don't think he's old enough really to do that. He was
original script, he was like kidnapped.
Yeah.
And then when, of course, by the time they got to when they actually made it, then they had Jai Courtney or whatever plays.
He was not the right person for that.
No.
He does not look like he came from the loins of Bruce Willis.
No. Jai Courtney is always the wrong choice.
Yes.
This I must agree with. I can't think of one movie I've seen him in that I actually liked him in. Or well, he was all right as Boomerang, was he? Didn't he play Boomerang?
Yeah, in Suicide Squad.
Captain Boomerang and Super. Yeah, but he played him as a joke, which worked for the context of that movie.
Yeah, and in that movie I liked him, but that doesn't mean that he did, whatever. But box office poison, yeah. He's just one of those they kept trying to have. Well, not only that, he was so miscast as not John Connor, Kyle Reese.
Kyle Reese.
Like, what the hell are you thinking?
Kyle Reese ate all the food in the future.
When the Kyle Reese is bigger than the Terminator, something's wrong.
Yeah, I did not like him as Kyle Reese.
Anton Yelchin was a better choice in the movie before it.
Yes, he had so many of his mannerisms down.
Hey, I could buy him as a younger Reese, yeah.
He was great. He was perfect.
But anyway, we went way off topic there.
I liked Salvation. I don't know about anybody else.
Not that we had a topic. Yeah, Salvation's fine. I had no issues with Salvation. It's like, even though it's a McG movie, that's probably the least of its issues. Or the most of its issues, I mean. Because otherwise, it finally went forward. Because that's what I kept bitching about, when they kept coming back in these last two movies. It's like, you went forward once. Why did you keep going back?
Right. And doing the same thing over and over again.
Right, and then this last movie was just stupid because we can all fix it in 5 seconds. You don't need to kill John Connor. You just make it so they stop Judgment Day. You've already set up that he's going to get married to this chick, and they're going to have a baby in the last movie. Well, just make his daughter the actual savior moving forward because whatever, you don't have to take it out of the Connor family because once you do what you did in that movie, you made Sarah Connor a failure. You killed John Connor for no good reason other than just the shock value of it. And it's not a spoiler, folks. If you haven't seen the fucking movie, it happens in the first literal 2 minutes of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I also think they haven't seen the movie based on the box office numbers. So
I don't think they want to because they ruined John Connor.
Yeah, I like
That's
T3.
all people needed to know.
T3 made sense. And I loved the ending of Terminator 3 because it actually had one of those old school sci-fi endings.
Yeah, it was very like Logan's Runny and other... Soylent Green type of.
Yeah, where you're like, oh, we think that we won the day, but no, we didn't.
Nope, not really.
Yeah, they just miscast John Connor in that. I think other than that, it was.
Nick Stahl. He was like on the rise because of that Sin City and.
He was serviceable, but yeah, he was no. They should have waited a few months to let Edward Furlong clean out a little bit. That's all. And they really, why really wait that much? You really could have just gone with it. That's how they had him set up in the beginning of the movie. He's a drunk.
Right.
Yeah, method acted for it. We're going to chronicle the story of sobering up Edward Furlong for next 90 minutes, and also a Terminator's going to be after him too. That'll go straight.
They could have just put the Terminator in post. Yeah, just like really just filmed Edward Furlong for like 90 days.
Followed around for a day. Probably more exciting. He actually broke into a fucking veterinarian's office and stole some shit. I mean, he literally, it's like I'm watching this movie and I'm like, why did they not get Edward Furlong? This is like they wrote it for him.
I was just, he could have probably brought some realism to it, been like, no, that's not how I would have done it if I broke into the vet office.
I shut that shit up. I'd have been said, I know what the fuck I'm looking for. Get the hell out of the way.
He could have helped out with the script.
Yeah, he could have.
You don't want that shit. That's the shit to medically neuter. Fuck, get that out of here. No, that's not even a thing. But anyway.
Yeah.
I love that little joke, though. That is still kind of. I'm hoping she's actually full of shit, and they don't actually think that that's a thing. Because
I think that was a lie, just to.
I figured as much. I was hoping so, because I'm like, that's not a real thing. I know it's. I was pretty sure it was a joke, but
I'm pretty sure chemical castration is from the outside, even for vets.
Exactly. And anyway, my point is like, yeah, I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. Why isn't Edward Furlong? This is perfect for him.
With the new one, I didn't see the new one, but with the who's the one that comes back to like be like, I guess, the Kyle Reese / good Terminator?
It's a girl. It's she's like an augmented
human,
human, so she's technically not a robot, but she is, kind of thing. And
cyborgish.
when I first saw like the first trailers and stuff, I thought maybe they were gonna touch on like the salvation aspect, where like what they did with that one guy, where he was like,
Yes.
which I thought would have been cool, like a little like
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
yeah, like if they had made her like him, I think that would have probably been a lot better.
See, they already used that idea instead of coming up with something original.
Yeah, and they also missed the critical idea that is all point of Terminator, which is that the humans won, and as the robots were sent back as like a contingency to make sure that they would not be destroyed. But in Dark Fate, like the main girl, she didn't defeat the machine or the AI in the future. The AI just said, okay, let's just randomly send someone back to kill her now, even though we're at like I guess a stalemate at best in the future. Like I saw no stakes in Dark Fate at all.
No, and they made too big of a deal out of it all. It's like, okay, so what? Skynet doesn't happen. That makes sense. Okay, we've stopped it. It's been way too long. If you're going to do this, do it. Otherwise, I was to the point where if you're going to do it, just remake the motherfucker if you're going to do it. I mean, I know I hate saying it at this point, but it's so far past its due date. It kind of brings us back to the whole thing with the X-Men argument. It's like, yeah, I get it. Those characters are so ingrained in, Magneto's so tied to the Holocaust, etc. But what do? You're at this point where you got to update them at some point. And I'm not against updating characters if it's necessary, but it's when you're not doing it for any other good reason than just because I want to make this said character a girl, or I want to make said character gay, or I want to make said character black. It just makes no sense. It always takes me back to the whole Superman argument and why Man of Steel didn't work for me, and that was Richard Donner got it right the first time. You don't change Superman. Superman is apple pie. Superman is Americana. He will always be, truth, justice, in the American way, no matter what it is. He will stand for those same things. The world may change around him, but he stays the same. And it's and Rob, I'm sure, is sick of me bringing it up just as much as I'm heard his Frank Zappa story so many times, but that scene on the balcony says everything you need to know about that remake and how you make Superman work in a modern age, no matter what age it is. Because he sits there and says, I stand for truth, justice, and the American way. And she's like, you'll be fighting every elected official in office, because that was at the time, it was a very tumultuous time, like now in politics. So the weird thing is the Superman we got now should have been so close to the same version almost, and the same thing with Lois. She was an independent woman. She wasn't the same, help me kind of girl she was in the old cartoons and shows. She was a little bit closer to the comic, to where she had a bit of a nose for trouble, and she knew how to get herself out of trouble without Superman's help all the time,
Yeah. I mean, the brilliance was that for Lois's arc, at least within the comics, and also if you were to go with the television series with Terry Hatcher, is that she had this habit of like getting into trouble but finding a way out. But as she grew as a reporter, as she grew as a person, she would get herself deeper into trouble, to the point where Superman had to come and save her because she was getting in way over her head as things were escalating around her because of Superman's appearance, which is like fantastic for her, but in the 90s and in early 2000s, they kind of really messed that up in the comic books for Lois Lane as a character, where she became a bit more reckless because she knew her husband would come and save her, or something of that ilk. But you kind of nailed it on the head. Like, Superman is an aspirational character, so it's one that we look up to. And if you deconstruct him to our level, you kind of deflate everything that makes Superman Superman. Like, it's in the name. He's Superman. So what would that entail? Like, things that we hold of good value, and that's universally applicable across languages. And I think Henry Cavill could definitely have done that version of Superman without any issue. But Zack Snyder is, dude bro type of guy. He is an insecure man. He is creatively great at cinematography and doing some cool scenes, but like, he is full out an insecure man.
Well, and a lot of blame also falls on Goyer and stuff like that.
Goyer is the king of insecurity. I mean, he's been riding that Dark City clout for decades. He barely worked on the film, but like, he did that, and then he managed to get into Blade and do a bunch of other little comic book consultations and be known as the comic book writer guy. And he literally knows like an iota about actual comic books. He crams at best. He doesn't even do a wiki search. He gets his assistants to like give him cliff notes, and then he just goes in there and says, let's make this dark and gritty, and not knowing what dark and gritty actually means. It's not just aesthetics, it's choices and dementia, essentially.
I just remind people, Goyer is the guy who wrote Demonic Fucking Toys. Okay, just remember this, folks. And again, I know we get accused of throwing the word hack around way too much, but Zack Snyder's one I will never actually call a hack. And I see, Black
Yeah.
Phoenix, you called him an idiot. No, he's not. If he'd have had a good script to work off of, Man of Steel probably would have been a great movie. Same thing with Batman v Superman. Zack Snyder has proven to me that with the proper, material
He has
to
a
work
good
with,
team around him. Yeah. He has
yeah.
a good team
Look at
around him.
300. You look at Dawn of the Dead. It's one of the few and I fucking adore the Romero Dead films. For me to say that remake of Dawn of the Dead is really good and holds up against the original, to me, is saying a lot. Like, there's a lot of good stuff in that new movie that I wish was in the original.
Yeah.
Like, especially the bit between what's his face,
Mekhi Phifer.
Ving Rhames and the guy across the way where they're doing the whole talking and stuff. And
Oh yeah.
there's all kinds of other little things in this newer version. I'm like, God, that would have been so cool to have that in the original. But again, and Watchmen, I will say, I do say that the end of Watchmen film makes a hell of a lot more sense than the comic does, and the graphic novel for Watchmen is my all-time favorite graphic novel. So
they did some good work tweaking the narrative, or sorry, like the character of Dr. Manhattan to fit in line with what ended up happening with Ozymandias and the ending being altered. It works for that version.
It makes so much more sense, and it makes Rorschach that much more of the hero in the story. And it's, again, the only things I don't like about Watchmen are his Zack Snyderisms, and that is the slow down bullshit and
like the super suit for Night Owl. I mean, it was way too technologically advanced for the character for 1985, even for my tastes of it. And also, yeah, the fact that they did make him kind of heavy and out of shape.
Yeah, there's a few things. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but again, I haven't seen Sucker Punch. I've heard bad things about it, so that doesn't mean everybody's perfect. But I've heard people out there, and I'm not going to name names, who are sit there and get mad at us because we've called people like J.J. Abrams a hack, and I'm still waiting for any kind of evidence otherwise, because this man has not made but 7 or 8 movies, and all of them have been sequels or remakes or reboots or whatever, except for Super 8. And Super 8 was a fucking ripoff. Yeah. So it's like, what else do you got here, buddy? Because none of this shit is original. If anything, if you want to say that JJ is actually a better writer than a director, I'll actually buy that argument. Because some of the shit that he's wrote is 10 times better than the movies he's made.
The first half of it, absolutely. He knows how to start and carry a story into the second act. It's when he's trying to finish it off and make it work all together. That's when he falls apart.
Yeah, I've heard bad things about Sucker Punch. So, but again, I can't sit there and put Zack Snyder on the same level as like a Michael Bay.
I don't know. I tell you, for what it is, it's not bad. It's visually, it's a great. Visually, it's an awesome movie. If you're not trying to look deep into a storyline and just want to kind of veg out and watch something cool, you could throw Sucker Punch on. It's got a hell of a soundtrack.
Sometimes that means more. I got a lot more soundtracks than I do some movies, because the soundtracks are amazing, but the movies suck.
Right. Like I still say that the Crow City of Angels soundtrack.
Great example. We just talked about that the other night, I think.
It's a better soundtrack than the original, and the original Crow soundtrack was amazing, but the second soundtrack is even better, and the movie was god awful.
Oh God, I think that was one of the first times I ever got up out of a movie and yelled at the movie that sucked walking out. Like, literally.
The third one was better, and the third one was like shit as far as
even speaking quality. Of Edward Furlong, I think the Edward Furlong one was even better than the second one, but that was not very good.
I don't know about that one.
That was still horrible.
To me, that was just an episode of Angel where he goes bad, and that's really all that movie was.
I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that one, to be honest. You're right. I haven't watched that since it came out. I've got them all on Blu-ray and DVD, but I haven't watched them all but the first one in God knows how long.
I only have the DVD box set of the first 3. I don't even have the 4th one. Like, I was like, I was like, no, I'm not even gonna bother.
I got some import Blu-ray box set that has like the first 3 in it or something like that, and I've got the first one on regular Blu-ray, and then I think I got the Edward Furlong one on DVD, and I think that's all there is 4 of them.
Yeah, that's only 4.
So yeah, so I think I got them all, but
yeah, my favorite song off the City of Angels soundtrack is the Linda Perry and Grace Slick song, "Knock Me Out."
yes. Oh, I actually watched that original cut of City of Angels. It's fucking worse.
What I wouldn't do to have the original cut. I didn't even know there was an original cut. Is it bad?
Yeah, it's just as bad. It's just longer.
The only good thing about that whole movie was like, okay, so if you look past the whole coincidence that Sarah 10 years later runs into another guy like that, and you can swallow that, the fact that she paints his face is like the only cool part of that movie.
Well, that's the only thing that makes sense, yeah, because otherwise the rest of the movie is just dog shit.
Yeah.
Well, this is Miramax of the 90s, guys. Or actually, I should say Dimension of the 90s.
And wasn't that guy like his stunt double and stand-in double after he got killed? The guy that plays the main guy.
I'm not 100% on that because I think there was only like 3 or 4 scenes that they had to reshoot for the. Because most of the movie was done for the first film. Like, there's only a couple scenes that I know of that are actual like reshoots with the stand-in, and I can't remember who it was exactly.
I think they just used his stunt double.
It could have. Yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you. I just remember that there's only a few scenes they had to redo or whatever, because they changed the ending a little bit. I know that.
Right. Yeah, they did do that.
Because I think the original ending, he lived, but he just lost all his crow powers or whatever, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. But then they reshot it to where he actually went back to his grave or whatever, because they knew it was, what are you going to do?
Right. You're not going to do a sequel with him. Right. So
I think that's the story. I can't remember exactly. All I know is that I've never seen the original footage. As far as I know, very few people have. It was destroyed after the whole investigation, as far as I know, but I'm sure it's sitting in somebody's vault somewhere.
Yeah, that's a movie I definitely don't want to see remade.
They're talking about it again. We just talked about it this last week.
Yeah, I know. They keep bringing it up.
Oh, they won't stop until they just try and it just utterly falls flat on its face. I mean, look at what happened to Hellboy, and that's not even as beloved as The Crow. Nobody wants to see Hellboy.
Well, because what they'll do is they'll just keep because it's what they're trying to get Jason Momoa, right?
That was the talk for a while, but I'm thinking he's getting too old for it now. I don't know.
Yeah, but let's just say it was him. Like, they'll just try to make a franchise out of it, and that goes like a lot of things that people like freaked out about when City of Angels came out was like, you can't do a sequel. It's not Brendan Lee. And I'm like, did you read the comics? It's never the same guy twice. Like it's always a different Crow. So even if he was still alive, it'd be cool if they did a different one each movie. And what they'll do is they'll wind up getting somebody and try to do a sequel after sequel after sequel, which is why I didn't like the TV show.
Well, and Jason Momoa, especially if he's playing Eric Draven, is completely wrong for the part anyway.
Right. Yeah.
You don't get. I mean, he's based on Iggy Pop, for fuck's sake.
Right. Yeah.
Body wise and look wise.
Right. Who was in the second movie, which was pretty cool.
Which is odd. Or was it the second one? Yeah, it was the second one, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was in the second one.
Yeah, second one. I was thinking he played in the first one, but I was like, no, that's that other guy. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The first movie is fairly close to the original. I mean, it's not close, but it's got most of the same story beats. They just changed a few characters. Like they made, what's his face, the main bad guy. He was just an ancillary character in the comic book and stuff like that. But they amped up all that shit.
Yeah, he was good. That whole movie is awesome. One of my favorites.
I love the first film.
Yeah.
Mac, have you seen the first Crow, right?
No.
No, you haven't?
No.
What?
Oh God, no! I always hated that shit.
Really?
Yeah, it looked all mopey and whiny and stupid.
Yeah.
It was awesome though. It's awesome.
Ugh, I'm not watching it.
Pilot.
It's all fighty, actiony shit. Like, I don't care.
Actually,
No,
not as
it's-
good as
it's-
you think.
Yeah.
I'm
Hey,
surprised you
it's-
actually don't. I'm not telling you to watch it because I know you won't.
No.
I'm just surprised you haven't seen it and you didn't like it if you did, because it actually seems more like something. See, actually, that
I
film.
was never into that shit though, because I was always like into Mystery Science Theater and anything that was like one of those trendy, popular sort of thing. Like even The Matrix, I'm not a fan of. So.
You could definitely MX3K that one would be good.
like I would say like the first confrontation is the most like quote unquote fighty scene. And even
I just
that's
don't care what it's about. I mean, there's what some guy who's dead because it's revenge.
It's actually more of like a horror movie than it is.
Oh
like
God, yeah. And by the '90s with horror movies, I was just out.
Well,
They were just terrible.
it's like a revenge kind of plot. thing.
Yeah, I mean nothing about it looked good.
She's not.
Well, she's not down with it. That's all right. Rob, you've seen it though, haven't you? Rob, you dead?
Died.
Well, he did say "be right back," but that was a while ago. But he said "back." He's muted. He's probably got the Super Bowl on. I suppose people are probably dropping out to watch the Super Bowl anyway, so we can probably wrap this up anyhow.
I got to get ready to get on Mandy's stream in an hour. So.
Oh, all right. Well, head on over to Mandy's channel to see Anthony there. Let's go around the bend. Mecca, you got anything video-wise or anything coming up?
I was thinking about streaming, but I don't know. Then it might just be gaming if I stream tonight because, like, I don't want to like go up against the Inquisition with like a topic. So if I stream anything, it'll just be gaming. But I don't know. But I got a video coming up in like a half an hour.
All right, so check that out. Script Doctor, anything coming up for you?
Yeah, gonna be working on some more videos that I'm a little behind on due to real life work, but I'm gonna try and squeeze out a Picard episode 2 video for tomorrow, and try and wrap up my Mandalorian thing. I keep getting stuck on the fact that like stormtroopers can't shoot anything, yet they're able to take out a whole bunch of Mandalorians. Like our later round of this, it's just boggling my head. So I got to figure out a way to best articulate a criticism to that without being crazy. But yeah, that's what I have in store for me.
Yeah, it's just an inconsistency you could point out, maybe, if anything.
There's a lot of them in that show, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Well, there's a lot in Star Wars in general. Fox, you got anything coming up?
I've got the Bourbon Talks on Wednesday, and I got another 2-minute review. Haven't picked the movie yet, but that should be coming out Thursday night or early Friday morning.
There you go.
Cool.
All right, Anthony, you got anything coming up?
As far as videos go, no, not right now, because I'm still working on the ash can, so I want to focus all on that. But like I said, I'll be over on Mandy's channel talking about the ash can and her campaign at 9:00. And next Sunday, I'll be on Han's channel doing the Name That Tune. So
there you go. Cool. All right, and Captain Robert April says he's got a Red Dwarf video on the way, so anybody interested in that stuff, check that out. You got anything on Red Dwarf? You did it yet?
Yeah, I did a video on that.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought I saw one. Yeah.
And
So,
all the Birds of Prey news, and that's a horrible train wreck, and is going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, nobody's buying tickets. It's all I've seen all over. Even some of the media outlets are pointing that out. So Rob, are you back yet?
You're muted if you're back, Rob.
You're muted, Rob. Like you're muted. Well, I guess Rob's dead. All right, guys.
The Kung Flu. You got it.
The Kung Flu got him. Maybe it was the coronavirus all this time. Uh-oh. All right, guys. Well, everybody have a good rest of your weekend. What's left of it anyway. Enjoy the Super Bowl if you're going to watch that. Otherwise, check out all these guys' channels. It sounds like they got a lot of stuff coming up. I'm sure we'll speak to y'all again real soon. So take care, everybody.